days from Tuesday's ruling to petition the Supreme Court of Appeal while the state remains confident the convictions will stand. Kayleen Morgan, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
And pressure is mounting ahead of a landmark summit between the US and Russia as Donald Trump warns that Vladimir Putin only has one chance to avoid sanctions. Putin and Trump will meet tomorrow at an airbase in Alaska, the first time the Russian leader has been permitted on Western soil since his 2022 invasion of Ukraine, which has killed tens of thousands of people. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who has refused to surrender territory to Russia, spoke to Trump over the phone yesterday, as did European leaders who have voiced confidence that the US leader will seek a ceasefire rather than concessions by Kyiv. Trump hinted that he could quickly organize a three-way summit afterwards with both Zelensky and Putin. But Trump has also told reporters that he's getting impatient with the Russian leader.
Any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
there will be
be?
consequences.
Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences, yes.
Gold is trading at $3,356.26 an ounce. The rand is at 17.53 to the dollar, 23.80 to the pound, 20.52 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.95 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the Maponya North between Boysons Road and the Crown Interchange while traveling on the N3 North. More traffic volumes approaching the Geldenhuys turnoff.
And in your sport, Kaizer Chiefs back up opening Betway Premiership win by collecting another 3 points. PSG collect the UEFA Super Cup for the first time in their history, and Proteas all-rounder Coben Bosch receives a demerit point.
A fine day in store for Gauteng, Johannesburg starting at 8 degrees, peaking at 24. Pretoria 7 and 24 as well. Vereniging 6, and it will also peak at 24. The top story in EW in this hour. Gauteng police believe the death of an e-hailing driver at Maponya Mall in Soweto may be linked to taxi violence.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Gauteng's greatest awards at 702 and Yoko. Let's celebrate excellence, one vote at a time. Go to primediaplus.com now to vote for the finalist that makes Gauteng feel like home.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Breakfast. My name indeed is Bongani Bingwa. It's a Thursday. It's that final stretch of the week before the weekend. Welcome to the show, wherever you are listening to us from. We're live streaming, of course, on our YouTube channel. You can check us out there. I'm not alone. I'm with Amokelang Ramila on traffic and so much more. Wisdom, tips, and just full of laughs. Not the best singing in the world, but you can't be perfect. Nobody's perfect, right, Amo?
Yeah, you can't have it all. I mean, you can't be beautiful, have a good voice, be able to sing,
charming,
be on the best breakfast team in the world. No, you can't.
You can't have it all. You can't have it all. Uteo Kharipa is here on business.
And I'm not shady at all this morning. I don't know what's going on with the two of you.
We've got producers Bapelile and Siam Tanda, and of course, Karabo responsible for all the social media posts. Anthony Teixeira is in for Cindy, bringing you everything you need to know in sport. And Sfiso Zulu has the latest news updates. So, shout out to you in all around 702 land, actually. Should we not make it specific today? Wherever you are, around 702 land, north, east, west, south. 702 land extends beyond Gauteng to the rest of the country, to the region, to the rest of the continent, and indeed around the world.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
As always, our mission is to tell you what's going on in the world. You tell us what's happening in yours. We want to explain to you why these things matter and how they will impact you. We will disagree. That's okay. We're all part of our informed community. I will change my mind from time to time. hopefully you can also see something in a way you haven't thought about before. So on our menu today, we're starting with a good news story. Isn't it time for a good news story? The question is, would you bet on a business in a township, most of its employees functionally illiterate, cannot read or write? The business is already saddled with 2.5 million rand debt. Is that the kind of business you would bet on? Our first guest, Adri Williams, is a partner of Khayelitsha Cookies, who has turned a situation exactly as I've described into a thriving business, right down to the point of exporting to the US. But a really, really key part of their strategy was to give shares to their workers, which they've placed in a trust. So everybody's in it to win it. And they've refused things like automation. They're still insisting on handmade cookies that have been all the rage. And this business that was flailing when they got it is now thriving. We thought we'd start off with a good news story. And I know it's in Cape Town and I know it's in Khayelitsha, but it's the kind of thing that if you are sitting at home, perhaps unemployed, perhaps feeling like giving up on opportunities, you might say, hang on a minute, if they did it, why can't I? And then residents threatening to shut down Maponya Mall after this e-hailing driver was shot dead last night. I mean, it's just an unbelievable story. Maponya Mall was such a great idea to bring that kind of shopping experience to the heart of Soweto. And it actually has not much to do with the mall itself, but what happened outside of it. This incident happened right at the gate of the shopping center. Residents are now threatening to shut down the mall because they're saying enough is enough. Enough is enough. You're coming out of the shopping mall. You opted not to go, to Southgate or the Glen, right? Those are the big malls in the neighborhood. You're using Jabulani Mall or Maponya Mall. You've got bags and bags of groceries. For example, I'm just painting a scenario. I'm not saying this was the case last night necessarily. You want to get an Uber because you live 10 minutes away. It'll cost you maybe, $50. And you can't because of this taxi violence. And for a long time, the authorities have watched this kind of nonsense, and I think precious little has been done about it. We'll speak to Kedibone Diale-Tlabela, who's the Gauteng MEC for Roads and Transport, about the latest and what they plan to do about what is clearly an unacceptable situation. And then we speak to Dirco, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation. This is about yet another State Department report that is looking at South Africa and has come up with all sorts of extraordinary conclusions. For example, they say in this country there are arbitrary detentions. They talk of extrajudicial killings. They're saying the human rights situation in South Africa has worsened. They're citing, of course, legislation like the Expropriation Act. They're using the EFF as an example of why South Africa is not safe, and they're talking about the repression of racial minorities. Now, we know this is part of the disinformation campaign that has been spread far and wide and fallen on ready ears, on fertile ground in the Trump White House. Perhaps it's not so much a conversation to clear that up, because I think anybody who is in South Africa will know the reality of what life is like in this country. But what does it say about our diplomacy? Are we failing, or is it a lost cause? Were the Americans under this Trump administration going to believe whatever it is they want to believe, no matter what we tell them, no matter what facts we try to present them? And then just before 9, we speak about the Tribute to Women 2025, which is a star-studded celebration looking at women achievers. We'll speak to the festival director.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
13 after 6. Now, here's a question, Amo Muteo, and anybody who wants to weigh in on it on 072-702-1702. We'll take your voice notes. What is that misperception about you that people believe, perhaps people who don't really know you, but people have this idea of you, and you find yourself having to correct it over and over and over again? And people will even say to you, oh my gosh, you turned out so different. I used to think you were. I used to think you were this, such and such. And only either through interacting with you, so your actions have dispelled that perception, or your words have convinced them otherwise. What is that one thing people believe about you that you've had to correct over and over and over again, Mateo?
That I'm violent, that I'm not approachable.
What do you mean?
Now that you know me, yeah. But people often say, before I met you, I thought that's the guy you don't mess with. And this is something you've said on the show before, by the way. Look at his size, you know.
No, but not because I thought you were violent. But I thought if I were, I'd come out the loser.
You know what's funny? There's a girl who's a friend of mine now.
I wouldn't test that.
But when for a long time, he thought I was an MMA fighter for some reason.
No. So when I met you, I didn't think that at all. I think for me, much of that has come from actually getting to know you. Not that I think you're violent. I'm not saying that at all. But you've got street smarts. You are somebody who doesn't take nonsense. You're not to be trifled with. I think you've got a very clear sense of what you think is right and wrong. And you've got a clear sense of justice and fairness. And I think if somebody were to try and take their chances, they'll come out second best. But that actually comes
from... That's saying it nicely, Bongani, but that's still thinking.
Yeah, okay. Look, size matters. I'm sorry. Size matters. I might take my chances against Sfiso Zulu, right? You know, I don't know if I would readily. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of those things.
Bear, man. I'm a teddy bear.
Of course you are, but on a bad day, you might be a grizzly. Amo?
I don't know. People think because I talk to everyone that I'm an open-hearted person. I'm an open book. You meet me the first time, you will know everything about me right on the go, right? I don't have anything to hide or secrets or whatever. But they think because of that character of mine, because I'm always like out there, they think I'm an outgoing person.
And?
Not really, no. It takes a lot to take me out of my house. It takes a lot.
Yeah. I think also people... well, maybe I shouldn't ask the question, right? What do people say about me? And what misperceptions have I had to dispel that you had about me?
How much time do we have?
Just one or two.
No, I'm kidding, man. Just that you full of yourself and, you know.
There's somebody listening going, yeah, well, that's true.
It's your way or the highway type thing. But I found that you can be convinced otherwise, especially if you're given new information that you feel, okay, that's true. I'll have a different perspective on a particular issue. But the often misconception is that, you know, it's your way or the highway. You stick to your views and you don't allow for there to be any debate about anything you've decided on.
That's just not true.
Well, I'd agree with Mateo. Yeah, he's right.
That's what people think.
Yeah,
and not true, right?
And that you are
this arrogant.
You think very arrogant. You think highly of yourself. The certain places that you wouldn't want to go to, or the certain people that you wouldn't want to be seen around.
True.
Wow, how violent, Mateo. How violent. Give us a WhatsApp voice note on 072-702-1702. What's that common misperception about you you've had to correct over and over and over again?
Let's walk the talk.
702.
We'll keep an eye on this worrying story out of Soweto last night. Gauteng police now say that a shooting which left an e-hailing driver dead. I mean, he was shot in cold blood at point-blank range. In Soweto may be linked to ongoing taxi violence. 2 other people were injured. So they shot and killed this one driver, and then they torched his car. Another driver of another vehicle, and it's not clear at this stage if that was also an e-hailing car, was also shot at. He somehow managed to get out of that vehicle and fled the scene, but they torched that vehicle too. And a number of residents in the area saying that they want to bring a protest to Maponya Mall. So we'll keep an eye on what's unfolding at that scene in Soweto.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
All right, Mateo Kharipe, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning, do you still have clothing accounts? And if you do they still work for you? Or are you the kind of person who plans to buy clothes seasonally?
Wow, clothing accounts. That's like from so long ago, from such a distant part.
I was wondering the other day,
my
like
life.
when last I heard of the word lay-by.
Yay.
you know.
Right?
But it still happens in South
No.
Africa. Yeah.
I can understand people buying big things, right? But clothing accounts, that's because I've always been like the kind of guy who looks for specials. When my kids were younger, they wore Mr. Pick and Pay clothes. I didn't even really get Woolies. It was, Pep. I was there at Pep.
Did you buy winter clothes in summer?
Or even hand-me-downs. If they've got older cousins, that's what you're wearing, babes. So the idea of clothing accounts, I think it was ingrained in me as a youngster that whatever you do in your life, don't have clothing accounts. Rather wait for something if you really, really need it that badly, or don't have it at all. That's what I was trained to think, and that's how I've been most of my life.
I'll let you know where I'm asking.
702.
Weather. I can tell you weather right now. You don't have 6 months to pay. Johannesburg temperature starting at 8 degrees, peaking at 24. That's the high in Pretoria and Vereeniging. Cape Town partly cloudy with a high of 18. Gqeberha peaks at 20 degrees. East London 22. Durban 24.
EWN Traffic.
20 after 6, this Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amo?
Well, Bongani, in Rand Park Ridge, we've got an accident on the N1 North. It's right near Bearsondia Drive. Delays coming out of 14th Avenue. Please be on the lookout there. It's causing about a 10-minute hold-up already while traveling on the Mike 1 North bumper-to-bumper traffic between Boyson's Road and Car Street. Peak time delays there. There's also peak time traffic on the N3 North between the Gelderhuys Interchange and Van Buren Road. Traveling in the city of Tshwane, be on the lookout for some delays along the R80 East Mabopane Highway approaching Eskiamphatlele exit. Traffic lights are also out of order at that intersection, so please approach with care and patience. We'll have more updates for you, but if you see anything else, we're on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Outsurance is simply the best at ensuring you always get something out. Outsurance scored 9.99 on the Hello Peter Trust Index, a near 5-star rating on Google reviews, and have outperformed their personal best on the number of complaints referred to the Ombudsman per 1,000 claims. Switch for low prices and service you can trust. Visit outsurance.co.za today and see how you could also get something out. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
As a business owner, would you rather deal with stacks of slips at the end of each day or have recons done instantly? Introducing Yoko Counter, the new all-in-one payments and points of sale system that removes the guesswork, the paperwork, and the time drain. Taking your business from chaos to control, guesswork to clarity, giving you back time to focus on what truly matters. Visit yoko.com today to find out more about the simple yet powerful out-of-the-box solution with free built-in point-of-sale software.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 in brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
My family's struggling with snotty noses and phlegmy coughs.
Oh no! Have you tried ACC?
ACC 600 is a convenient one-a-day effervescent tablet from 14 years of age. Or now also in a no water needed fruity flavored sherbet-like granules that dissolve in your mouth. Ideal for the on-the-go adult. Ask for ACC 600 effervescent or oral powder at your nearest pharmacy to get rid of the snotties and phlegmings. And trust, if it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil. It's a global moment of solidarity, equality, and sustainability with Africa at the center. So tune in tomorrow between 6 and 9 a.m. for the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. Get all the latest news, views, insights, and breakthroughs from the summit as it happens. The G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Good morning, Bongani. You know, it is very sad. I myself am a e-hailing driver, and it is very sad that we don't get help from the police, and we don't get help from the e-hailing app itself. It's disappointing. We are not protected. We are also trying to, feed our families, trying to do something for ourselves. And this is the backlash that we are getting. It is very sad. Now, guys have been killed because of taxi violence. Thank you.
Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And stay listening, because we will be speaking to the Gauteng MEC for road safety and transport about exactly what is being done about a problem that I think authorities have long ignored.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
25 after 6. Things you need to know at this hour. Today, Katiso Molefe, this prominent Sandton businessman, is due back in the Alexandra Magistrates Court to apply for bail. You remember, Molefe faces serious charges, including murder and conspiracy to murder. It's all linked to the death of popular musicians DJ Somebody, saying it right now, Somebody, still feels like DJ Somebody to me, but Asikolapo, and DJ Vinto. Both artists were shot fatally in separate incidents in 2022. The state is alleging that Molefe orchestrated those attacks. Crucial meeting is on the horizon, so members of Parliament's newly formed ad hoc committee looking into the allegations made by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the head of SAPS in KZN. They're going to be making a significant step towards that investigation by setting the terms of reference. It's a high-stakes probe that will look at corruption within SAPS's top ranks and the alleged unlawful dissolution of the political killings task team by... What? It's so weird because we can't quite call him former police minister Senzo Mchunu. He still is officially the police minister, even though he's not on the job. Welcome to South Africa. $1 billion lawsuit threat is brewing between the Trumps and the Bidens. First Lady Melania Trump, the wife of the current president, Donald Trump, and Hunter Biden, son of the former U.S. President Joe Biden. The controversy started when Hunter Biden claimed in a YouTube interview that Melania Trump had met Donald Trump through the notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Melania's lawyers swiftly responded, calling the claim false, disparaging, defamatory, and inflammatory, and demanded a retraction from Hunter Biden and an apology. And they say if he doesn't comply, she will sue him for over $1 billion in damages. And the perception, of course, that the Trumps were in it as a kind of transactional exchange remains, no matter what assurances the Trumps themselves might want to make. What is that perception about you that you've had to correct over and over and over again? Irvin Magic Johnson Jr. turns 66 today. He was born on this day in 1959. You'll, of course, remember him for that 13 incredible year career with the Los Angeles Lakers, racking up accolades, including 5 NBA championships, 3 finals MVP awards, and 3 NBA MVP titles. What was remarkable is the story of resilience and determination. He was one of the first people to publicly come out and declare that they had been diagnosed with HIV. And he's really continued to be a spokesperson for the fight against the disease and so much more. I think off the court, Magic Johnson has displayed his magic as much as he did on the court. I Got You, Babe. You know that song? First came out in 1965 as an iconic duo between Sonny and Cher, reaching the top of the Billboard charts.
Find out until we grow. Well, I don't know if all that's true, 'cause you got me, and baby, I got you. Hey, I got you, babe. I got you, babe.
Oh, man. One of those classic songs was #1 this day in 1965.
702.
The newspapers.
That was 60 years ago. Goodness me. Sfiso Zulu, good morning.
Good morning, Bongani.
We weren't around 60 years ago.
No, not at all. I don't think I was a concept.
You've even an idea. So you've got some feedback on a story we covered earlier in the week from the Sowetan. I actually did a TikTok and I posted this on Instagram, and the outrage was quite immense.
Yes, yes. So this is a story of you, as you rightfully said, that we covered during our newspaper segment. It's about a family that had to find out about the killer of their daughter, that he had been released from jail. The father bumped into this man in town, and he had no idea that he had been freed. He thought this man was behind bars because he had this killer had appealed his sentencing and conviction based on a technicality.
Yeah, and this was somebody who had a life sentence. He was going to spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Yes.
So to then see the killer of your daughter, he'd killed this man's daughter, right?
Yes.
In cold blood.
A year, he was released based on the technicality that was done by the magistrates' court, because the magistrates' court was supposed to appoint assessors to assess whether this man is fit to stand trial, right? And so today, the Sowetan is giving us an update that this man who killed this lady is going to be retried and is going to be rearrested, right? So, but the family says they only found out about this whole situation of the rearrest and the retrial on radio. The radio again, because at first they did not know that this man was free until the father made some calls, and only to find out that this man has been released based on a technical error by the courts.
Well, the magistrate was supposed to have two assessors, and generally assessors are there to deal with the facts of the case. So the magistrate or judge will talk about the law and look at the law, but in terms of the facts of the case, so they want to make sure they're assisting the court to stay true to what was actually put on the record. It's an unbelievable story. We'll keep an eye on that. The front page of The Citizen, DA's triple BEE gamble. While those who have issues with the party's position have left, black voter support may hold steady despite the DA's perspective on race. NPA to retry freed killer, says the Sowetan, as you've just told us, Sfiso Zulu. And the Business Day, litigants in firing line. This is Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi, who has launched a broadside against the parties litigating against the proposed National Health Insurance Act. Not proposed, in fact, it is an act now, isn't it? He's asking the court to consolidate all those cases and suspend all other challenges to the constitutional validity of the legislation.
EWN Business.
All right, Muteo, you want to know, do we still have clothing accounts? And how do we budget for buying clothes? Buy now, pay later. Budget for seasonal shopping. There is such a thing because, for example, all the specials for the winter clothes are now on because we're going into the spring. So it's a good time to buy. Shop more online. That's increasingly something people are doing more and more. What prompts the question?
Bongani retailer Truworths International says retail account holders are still helping with sales volumes, especially with the weaker South African economy. The group retail sales for the current period increased by 2.7% to 22 billion rand compared to just over 21 billion rand last year. Now, account sales were still high at 46% of group retail sales for the current period, with cash sales increasing by 5.2% and account sales increasing marginally by 0.1%. In 2024, 54% of Truworths' revenue was generated by cash sales, with the remaining 48% coming from credit.
Wow.
So people are still there.
That's quite high, yeah.
Standing in line, paying with their cards, and then later making up that amount.
6 months to pay interest-free.
Yep.
Yeah, why
Still
not if
works.
you can do it?
In the same year, its active account holders total was at 2.9 million. So that just gives you an idea of how many people still use this method of buying.
2.9 million account holders.
Account holders.
For Truworths only.
Yeah, for Truworths only.
Goodness me. And they've got a number of stores around the country, right? How many?
754, I think, was the last count in terms of 64, rather. 764 stores in South Africa. And then they have stores elsewhere in Southern Africa. Botswana has 12, Eswatini has 5, Zambia has 2, with Namibia also having 12 stores as well. So that business also doing well.
Listen, people are looking for all sorts of ways to save. Where's the rand?
17 Rand 53 against the US dollar, slightly weaker this morning at 20 Rand 51 cents against the euro and at 23 Rand 79 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $3,360 an ounce, or platinum at $1,333. Brent crude at $65.86 a barrel. More business after 7:30.
Straight to the news desk we go. Squeeze Zulu, what you got at this hour?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Eskom says it's in the final stages of completing its plans to end load reduction. The power utility implemented planned outages in various communities in what it says is a means to avoid network overloading in high-demand areas. Various areas have been affected by load reduction for at least 4 years now, and many have complained that the outages are mainly targeted at poor communities, a sentiment that Electricity Minister Hosien Soramokgopa weighed in on during his media briefing yesterday.
Yes, indeed, we don't have load shedding, but there are many people in many parts of the country that are experiencing load reduction. So that's a downstream isolated capacity constraint, such that the infrastructure at the level of distribution and reticulation is not sufficient to provide for the demand that is placed on that infrastructure.
The United National Transport Union says it's ready to take legal action against PRASA amid concerns that the rail operator could fail to honour a wage agreement. UNTU's threats came after UNTU and the South African Transport and Allied Workers Union received letters from PRASA this week. And in those letters, the SOE cited financial constraints for possibly not being able to honour the wage agreement meant to take effect this month. The deal, signed in July, included a 5.5% salary increase for the 2025-2026 financial year and a once-off lump sum in back pay for April to July. Nokayam Dambo reports.
Union UNTU says the letter from PRASA fails to follow correct protocol by bypassing the PRASA bargaining forum, signalling the entity's blatant disregard for established protocols and procedures. UNTU spokesperson Atinkosi Plaiki.
UNTU condemns PRASA for its dishonesty and shameful behavior. These underhanded tactics are eroding the PRASA bargaining forum.
The union has warned PRASA not to test it.
UNTU looks forward to the implementation of the 2025-2026 collective agreement per the agreed upon timelines.
Plaiki says if PRASA doesn't honour the full agreement, the union will move to litigate, similar to a move that saw the SOE cough up millions for breaking a 2020 wage agreement. Nogukanyam Dambo, Eyewitness News.
The city of Tshwane says it needs additional funds to comply with a court judgment ordering it to provide services to the Tshwane fresh produce market. The capital was found guilty of contempt of court for not complying with the 2022 judgment, which ordered it to ensure that the market was fire and smoke compliant. On Sunday, the High Court ordered for the mayor and city manager to be imprisoned for 1 month unless they comply with the court order within 30 days. Mayoral spokesperson Samkelo Mgobozi says the upcoming Tshwane Investment Summit will be an opportunity to obtain outside funds for the fresh produce.
We firmly believe that the fresh produce market is one of the city's most valuable strategic assets, as outlined in the Tshwane's Economic Revitalization Strategy adopted by Council earlier this year. It plays a central role in the agriculture and agro-processing sector. Our vision is to expand trade space, improving operational efficiency, grow market share, and integrate emerging farmers into the formal value chain.
Meanwhile, the DA in Tshwane, which governed the city in 2022 during the period of the non-compliance, says the metro must re-establish its broken-down relationship with the market's agents. The DA is Celia Brink.
And we call on the mayor to restore that relationship, to put somebody in charge with authority to negotiate with the agents, and to re-employ the strategy which was in place to improve the conditions at Tshwane's fresh produce market.
A fine day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 6 and 8 degrees, peaking at highs between 24 and 23.
That's bumper-to-bumper traffic along the N1 North heading towards Rand Park Ridge. About a 20-minute hold-up between Albertina Sisulu Road and Bears Nodia Drive due to that major accident scene. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling on the M1 North, bumper-to-bumper traffic as well between Boysons Road and Carr Street.
The top story this hour, Power Utility Eskom says it's in the final stages of completing its plans to end load reduction.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
Hi, 702 listeners. My name is Paco from Kalinin.
The one thing that I love about 702 is Bongani Bingwa.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
So we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
Time to review my favorite employee, my F&B Gold business account. You give me thousands of potential customers by listing my business on Nav Marketplace and access to Guard Me, a bodyguard for cash drops, locking up. No other card does this. If you weren't a bank card, I'd give you a raise.
The F&B Gold business account. No other card works harder for your business because your safety is worth it. F&B, help changes everything. T's and C's apply. F&B, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider.
Do you know what's hiding behind the colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front of package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by the 30th of September.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is streets ahead. Warrior Paints. Affordable, lasting luxury.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani. This is Lynn from Mayerton. I still have clothing accounts, and being a SASSA pensioner, I buy an item and pay it off 6 months cash. Obviously, at my age, I don't need a lot of clothes, but the 6 months accounts don't charge interest. So yes, that's how I keep my wardrobe fairly new.
Morning, Muteo and the 702 listeners. Clothing accounts. No, these days we don't have clothing accounts. We also do not do lay-by because there's a thing called PayFlex. You buy it, you get it immediately, and they give you a chance to pay it in at least 3 or 4 divided installments, interest-free. Lucia from Pretoria. Great show, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching, women in my family, lots of children, obviously, to look after. There were nephews, there were nieces. It wasn't always just your own biological children, and clothing accounts seemed to be the answer. Except I also know when that 6 months was up, the accounts weren't always up to date. And I just remember thinking this is not going to be my life when I was much, much younger. And although I'd like to think I have a reasonable dress sense, it's not to the degree of clothing accounts. It's just one of those things that if you can avoid, I understand. If you're a pensioner, you want to keep your wardrobe fairly new, you don't need a lot of clothes, and you know how to manage your finances, that perhaps would be an exception. But if you're under pressure, and your budget is under pressure, and you just go and you buy and you buy and you buy because you want to keep up with the Kumalos, you could get into a spot of bother.
EWN Sport.
7:17. Good morning to you, Anthony Teixeira.
Morning, Bongani.
One of the questions we're asking this morning is, what is that common misperception people have about you that you find yourself having to correct over and over and over again? Or people will even say to you, after getting to know you, Anthony, I used to think, and it's amazing how wrong I was.
Apparently, I don't have a friendly face. I constantly get told, oh, you're so much friendlier than I first expected you to be. I think it's just because I usually have a scowl etched across my face that people think, oh, I'm grumpy, or I'm not going to speak or engage with somebody. That's commonly the remark.
Are you a Pirates fan?
I'm not.
See, if you're a Pirates fan, you'd be a lot friendlier. people would expect you to be friend because we are happy people.
Not at this moment. You guys
No,
are the
we're not.
disappointed people,
No,
to
we're
be
not.
honest.
It's Amakosi who are happy people, aren't they?
They are indeed. Kaizer Chiefs have now recorded back-to-back wins to start their Betway Premiership. This is after Sipositlo and Lovu scored late on to hand them a 1-0 win over Polokwane City. Amakosi's assistant coach, Cedric Kaze, feels his side were prepared to grind out that result.
It was a game that we were expecting, playing against a physical team, low block, mid block, transition, counter-attack, set pieces. We can't forget that this is a second game in 3 days. Physically was very, very tough for everyone, and we are very happy to have the 3 points.
They find themselves second on the log behind Durban City, who also left it late to clinch a 1-0 win over Chippa United. Sekhukhune United have also managed to keep the early pace with the pair with a 1-0 win for themselves against TS Galaxy. Stellenbosch have a first point of their campaign. It was a 1-1 draw against Magezi, and Golden Arrows beat Richards Bay 1-0. Spurs may have proved that Ange Postecoglou wasn't the problem, as Thomas Frank's side blew up a 2-0 lead with 5 minutes to go to then lose the UEFA Super Cup final. Gonzalo Ramos completed PSG's comeback in the 4th minute of stoppage time to send that final to penalties, where the French champions held their nerve to win the subsequent shootout 4-3. Luis Enrique admits, though, that his side was second best.
To speak about one important thing for us, and it was one of the keys last season, it's the faith. We are all going thinking that we can win every single match, even if we are losing. But if I have to be honest, I have to say that Tottenham deserve much more. They played better than us the 81st minutes, and football is sometimes unfair.
And in case you missed it, Proteas all-rounder Corbin Bosch has been handed one demerit point for breaching ICC's code of conduct, which relates to using language, actions or gestures which demean and or provoke an aggressive response from the batter. It relates to his dismissal of Ben Dorshus in the series levelling a 53-run victory against Australia Tuesday. All Bosch did was direct the opponent off the field by pointing to the Baggy Greens bench when the Bells came crashing off the stumps. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Hello, Uncle Bongani. My name is Sheriff. I am 13 years old and I go to Pretoria Primary School. When I grow up, I want to be an entrepreneur, and I'm so excited to play the Whiz Quiz with you today. Thank you.
Let's do business, Sharif. 10,000 Rand is up for grabs. Will you win it?
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
14 to 7. Let's catch up with the roads. Amo, that crash on the N1 North, is it a bad one?
A horrible one, Bongani. It's causing about a 20-minute hold-up between the Albertina Sisulu Road exit and the Beyers Nadia Drive off-ramp. So please be on the lookout there and approach with care. It's right near Beyers Nadia. So if you're heading towards Rand Park Ridge, please try to find alternative routes or even use Christian de Wet as an alternative. Traveling on the N3 North, delays between the Geldenhuys Interchange and Van Buren Road. Peak time delays there. There's also peak time pressure along the Mike 1 North between Boyson's Road and Car Street. I'll have your next traffic updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Sell your car now and get paid instantly. There's no waiting when it comes to We Buy Cars. Simply complete the online form on webuycars.co.za to get started. Looking for your next ride? Explore thousands of vehicles with finance and all the extras available online and in-store. So whether buying or selling, We Buy Cars has what you need.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for plumbers, electricians, and other tradesmen. Pumlani.
Switching to Outsurance was one of the best decisions that we've ever made. We needed business cover, over 15 million. Outsurance came forth for us. At Kani, we sleep better at night, knowing that we always get something out of Outsurance.
Switch to Business Outsurance, and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Good morning, Bongani Bingwa and the team. You know what? People think that I am a police officer or a soccer player. And I always have to correct them every now and then that I am not a police officer or even a soccer player. I've never played soccer at all in my life. I've never been a police officer at all. My name is Baba Kupeka from the Val. May you have a good day with your team.
Good morning, Bongani and the team. Great show as always. The misconception that I normally get is I'm actually too serious. People think that I'm that serious guy until such time they see me with my kids and my brothers, and then they're like, this is a totally different person. Yeah, that's what I get most of the time. So, great show as always. Thank you very much. And about you, Bongani, yeah, all is true. But if a person get to know you and have a conversation with you face to face, you are a totally different person. Thank you, guys.
I remember, I've told the story before. I used to be a preacher, and we worked out in Soshanguve, Mabopane, etc. And I was now leaving to come back to Johannesburg, and they do this little farewell get together. And somebody said, "Oh my gosh, who's going to be the life of the party? Who's going to be the one always dancing at all our social events?" And I remember thinking, "Gosh, is that all I'm known for? All you're going to remember is that I was this joker." And so years later, when people say they think of me as this really serious person, I always think, some of these perceptions you buy into because you're trying not to be, they were like, who's going to be, what was the big song? Congo Mame. Remember that song? Who's gonna sing the Congo Mame? And I thought, okay, I won't be known for only that.
It's actually not Congo Mame.
What is it?
Congo Zaire.
Okay.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Not part of the questions of the Whiz Quiz, thankfully. Sharif is 13 years old, goes to Pretoria Primary School, wants to be an entrepreneur. And up next, of course, we speak to a fantastic entrepreneur with a great story. This is the good news story you've been waiting to hear. But let's see if Sharif can win 10,000 Rand. Are you ready to play, my man?
Yes.
Do you know what kind of business you want to start one day?
A retail business.
A retail business. Look at you. Let's see if we can give 10,000 Rand towards your efforts. KG, start the clock. Spell the word gallery.
Gallery.
Correct. True or false? The Drakensberg mountain range is located in the Western Cape.
False.
Correct. How many holes are there in a round of golf? Is it 18 or 24?
24.
It's 18. Which word is a synonym for crash? Rectify or wreck?
Wreck.
Correct. What paper size is larger, the A4, the A5, or the A6?
The A4.
Correct. Complete the saying. Birds of a feather, what together?
Swim together. Fly together.
Flock together. True or false? North America is the continent in the world with the most people.
True.
It's false. Which Asian country is the world's largest rice producer?
China.
China is indeed the correct answer. Is it in time? The producers say yes, they'll give that to you. Sharif, you walk away with 500 Rand. 5 correct answers is what you got there. It's $100 for each correct answer. 10,000 if you get them all correct. And you must be aged 10 to 13 to play.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. Up to 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. So what you do is you send us an answer based on something that piqued your interest during the show, and for that you'll win 1,000 Rand. Simply WhatsApp us your name and that answer to 072 702 1702. Then a little later, someone else will ask a question to win 2,000 Rand. Now you always stand a better chance of being selected if you've SMS'd out to Outsurance and got yourself that quote. So save on your car insurance and SMS out to 45142 now.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions,
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
7 to 7 onto this now. So would you buy a struggling township cookie business saddled with 2.5 million Rand debt? That's exactly what our next guest did. Adri Williams and her partner bet on a failing Khayelitsha cookie business, and they've transformed it into a thriving social enterprise that hand bakes tens of thousands of cookies every day. Today, they employ dozens of women, offering them shares through a trust, and I think this has injected dignity into their daily lives. And even against big cookie factory competition, they are still holding fast to the idea of human touch, and they are hand-making their cookies, and they're teaching non-literate women to bake and manage factories' operations by hand. It's a fantastic story. Adri Williams, the co-founder and partner of Khayelitsha Cookies. A very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Good morning, Bongani and listeners. Thank you so much for having us.
So listen, you bought the struggling business in Khayelitsha for, what, a paltry R1, I'm told. How much trouble was it in? I mean, you inherited all its debt and you still thought it was a good idea?
Yes, because I worked for them for 6 years prior to buying over this business. So when I started there were 4 women, and by then there were 50 women. So the heart behind buying this business over with the debt is to secure a future for the women. But yes, it was in deep, deep trouble.
What did you find?
For us, the turnaround that we did was actually at ground level with the staff. So when the staff heard that we bought over the business, they surrounded us. And it is that true Ubuntu with women coming together going, we cannot let the ship sink. We need to do what we need to do. Yeah. And the main reason how we turned the business around is an incentive that we brought about where the women would go home and they would, as soon as they finished their baking for the day, their targets, and they would get paid for a full day. Because we realized very soon we need to increase production. And the net effect of that was the mothers kept on reaching that target so that they can go home early and spend the afternoon with their children. And subsequent, many years later, we realized that that incentive helped that the women didn't have to send their kids to Eastern Cape for grandma and grandpa to take care of them, but that the kids reside with them in Cape Town now and that their kids can get proper education, which they never got.
And of course, one of the things you did is you came up with this share scheme to allow your employees some ownership of the business.
Correct. So even though I take all the risk, financial risk in the business, I've only got 37% shareholding in the business. So we've got a trust fund that's 30% owned by the women, the staff, and then my fellow directors got a 21% shareholding in the business.
How many people do you employ now?
87.
Goodness me.
And that's where we measure our success factor, is the amount of people we can employ.
I understand you're supplying hotels, retail chains, and you're even shipping pallets to the US?
Yes, we shipped our first 2 pallets last year to the US. We shipped another one this year. And yeah, we're actively focusing on trying to get that business to grow.
Now, all of this is done by hand. Why have you resisted automation?
What takes us 40 days to bake takes a machine 1 day. And if I have to replace my staff with a machine, I go down from employing 87 to just 12. And that is the real job creation. And that is the passion behind the business. Because behind every person working there, it means that 5 to 7 women have, or 5 to 7 dependents, have a meal on their table that night who didn't have a meal prior to working at Khayelitsha Cookies. And if you look at the statistics on how many people actually go hungry every night in South Africa, it's not even a drop in the ocean compared to the problem. But we know that that's the net effect. That's the heart of our business. That's the drive of our business, is to create that next employment, the next employment, the next employment.
And you work with women who often can't read or write, eh?
Correct. And so we had to become clever and go back to the drawing board because we are internationally food safety accredited. So we had to literally go and rewrite all of the food safety training programs into picture training in Xhosa, in the women's own home language. We have to do verbal exams. We have to do on-the-job training. I mean, most of these women, it's the first time ever they open up a bank account. So we even had to go over to paying weekly wages to help the women, like to manage their finances better. Instead of paying, like monthly and then second week because the woman never earned an income, they end up not having money to get to work and back for transport. So, we've learned valuable lessons and had to rewrite how normal business runs on a daily basis.
Adri, to someone listening to us, perhaps who might even be sitting in an informal settlement or they're unemployed at home and they've got some kind of entrepreneurial dream, what's your, if you can dream it, you can do it advice?
Start. That is the main thing. You need to do something. Take that first step of faith. Start. Don't just dream it. You need to, when you have the vision, start with the next thing. Do like a plan board that you put up, and you need to drive it. So I've also been busy for 10 years behind the scenes with the next phase for the youth unemployment that we're targeting through a farm project. It's taken me 10 years, but there's not been paid. I've not added to that planning board to make sure that this becomes a reality and it doesn't just stay a dream.
I think it was the good news story we all needed to hear. Adri Williams, congratulations. You and your partners, I will now say plural, the owners and the workers of Khayelitsha Cookies. I think it's an extraordinary story, and it's a story that can easily be replicated. Somebody, of course, has to have the will. Somebody has to take the risk. But when you've got buy-in and you look at people and you meet them where they are, instead of imposing your ideas of what might work for you and perhaps not so much for them, you can achieve the kind of success that Adri Williams, the co-founder and partner of Khayelitsha Cookies, has achieved.
No, Bongani. No one must bully you in that studio. No one must bully you in that studio. We are here. Otherwise, no. I think I must come that side of something. No, it's Congo Mame. End of the story. Congo Mame.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
Thank you very much for that, Amo. Take several seats, you are being told. Up next, we will be looking at two stories, an update on what's happened to that e-hailing driver killed in Soweto, what's the situation in Maponya Mall at the moment, and the US has its sights clearly set on South Africa. All to come after this Eyewitness News, brought to you by Khayelitsha. Khayelitsha, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
This is EWN.
E-hailing drivers fear for their lives following attacks in Soweto. We go live for the latest.
I heard the gunshots, and when I come back, I just saw some of the cars on flames.
And Trump says Putin has one more chance to avoid Western sanctions. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. We begin with developments out of Soweto, where there's a heavy police presence outside Maponya Mall after an e-hailing driver was killed and two vehicles set on fire. 4 gunmen shot the driver who was parked outside the mall's entrance last night. They also opened fire on another driver who was injured but managed to flee from his vehicle, which was also set alight. An onlooker caught a stray bullet and was later taken to hospital alongside the surviving driver. Gauteng Transport MEC Kedibone Diale-Tlabela has described the attack as barbaric. Her spokesperson, Lisi Bampia.
MEC Kedibone Diale-Tlabela condemns with the contempt it deserves the barbaric attack on the e-hailing services that has led to the loss of life of one of the operators. The MEC calls for law enforcement agencies to get to the bottom of this, to pursue and find those that are responsible for this heinous act.
Meanwhile, some e-hailing drivers say they fear for their lives after the attack last night.
I'm scared of my life. I'm going home to sleep now. I did pass in Maponya last night. I saw the incident. I heard the gunshots, and when I come back, I just saw some of the cars on flames. And I'm like, no, I can't stop here because I know actually that this can be the taxi industry fighting the e-hailings.
We cross now live to Jabulile Mbata in Soweto. Jabulile, how is the situation there this morning?
So armed and watchful, police officers are on guard both inside and outside the Maponya Mall, monitoring the situation. The gates that cars use remain closed, while employees working at the mall are allowed in to walk by foot. There are still some charred remains from the 2 cars that were torched just hours ago, while traffic is flowing with mainly taxis operating outside the mall. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News, reporting live from Soweto.
The city of Ekurhuleni says the eviction of illegal occupants from a block of flats in Parwe Park is only the beginning of similar operations to be conducted across the metro. Human Settlements MMC Khopello Hollo says the department has identified 5 residential complexes that have also cost the municipality millions in lost revenue. Hulo, who was overseeing the final removal of tenants in the area yesterday, said that the city is closing in on places including at Airport Park and Delville. Thando Luhle-Ngobo was there.
It's been a long 2 days for tenants as they gathered the last of their belongings yesterday, transporting them to a local community hall and some to relatives for safekeeping. As both community and city officials try to find solutions for those who have found themselves completely stranded after being evicted, the Human Settlements Department has made it clear that it is zeroing in on more problematic apartment accommodations. MMC Khopello Hulu.
I've got 5 complexes. Out of these 5, only one complex I'm happy, which is Crisal. We are collecting about 90% revenue. Delvin, Airport Park, I'm coming. Airport Park, it's west. It's west. They don't pay.
He reiterated the call to non-paying occupants to find ways to move before they find themselves in a similar situation. Thando Luhle-Ngobo, Eyewitness News.
Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi has told Operation Dudula that legislation allowing foreign nationals to use public healthcare facilities will not change. Motsoaledi made the comments during a meeting with the group, warning them to stop protests or face the law. Operation Dudula has, in some instances, physically removed and prevented foreign nationals from accessing healthcare at public facilities. Health Department spokesperson Foster Mohale
managed to take the leadership of Dudula through a number of policies and pieces of legislation that govern and regulate the provision of healthcare in the country, which are beyond our control. And as the department, we have to comply.
And pressure is mounting ahead of a landmark summit between the US and Russia as Donald Trump warns that Vladimir Putin only has one chance to avoid sanctions. Putin and Trump will meet tomorrow at an airbase in Alaska, which is the first time that the Russian leader has been permitted on Western soil since his 2022 invasion of Ukraine, which has killed tens of thousands of people. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has refused to surrender territory to Russia. He spoke to Trump over the phone yesterday, as did other European leaders who have voiced confidence that the US leader will seek a ceasefire rather than the concessions by Kyiv. Trump hinted that he could quickly organize a 3-way summit with both Zelensky and Putin. But he told reporters yesterday that he's getting impatient with the Russian leader.
Any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
there will be
be?
consequences.
Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences, yes.
Gold is trading at $3,356.26 an ounce. The rand is at 17.53 to the dollar, 23.80 to the pound, 20.52 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.95 a barrel.
Well, traveling in the west this morning, we still have got that major accident on the N1 North, right near the Beyaznodia Drive exit. It's causing delays, particularly at this moment coming out of Albertina Sisulu Road. There's also congestion along several routes that are leading towards the N1, like 14th Avenue, Albertina Sisulu Road, as well as Beyaznodia Drive. So if you're traveling around this area this morning, please be on the lookout.
And in your sport, Kaizer Chiefs leave it late, but they pick up a second win in as many Betway Premiership games to move second on the log. Cameron Hanekom celebrated for Stella Bulls campaign, and Venus Williams returns to Grand Slam tennis after a 2-year absence with the US Open wildcard.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg is at a low of 8 degrees, peaking at 24. Pretoria, 7 and 24 as well. Vereeniging 6 will also peak at 24. The top story in EWN this hour. There's a heavy police presence outside Maponya Mall in Soweto after an e-hailing driver was killed and 2 vehicles set on fire.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You may not know this, but 2 things stand in the way of some young people getting a job interview. One is the cost of travel, and the other, the cost of a suit. Since Khayelitsha introduced their suit trade-in promotion, over 7,000 suits have been refurbished and distributed thanks to you. Khayelitsha are committed to helping young people find employment and have helped in training them too. So when it comes to business, start with Khayelitsha, committed to helping young businessmen make their best start. Khayelitsha, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Your vote is not just a click. It's a thank you, a nod, a way of saying we see you. Vote for your favorite local business now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Keeping an eye on developments in Soweto, there's a heavy police presence outside Maponya Mall. Last night, community leaders were threatening to shut down Maponya Mall, and already there is a gathering of some community members. And they want to shut down the mall, of course, after the e-hailing driver was shot dead. I'm not sure if that serves their purposes or assists them as a community, but certainly last night they were frustrated. I want you to listen to one of them, Tabang Moloi, who said this was not the first such incident, and they as a community are sick and tired of this violence.
Everyone, when I saw it, we are sick and tired of what is happening now in Maponya Mall. Maponya Mall is not for the first time this thing is happening here. 2 people are shot, rushed to be hospital, and the other one is dead there, right there, dead inside the car, an Uber driver. So, as a community, it is us, the community, protected Maponya Mall. But the Maponya Mall management is underestimating the community. They don't want to do what the community wants. They don't want to listen to us. So now it's time that usaba nokuba ukwana ukuthi sizawudutshula senzani kuphela, because some of our kids nabogogo bazodutshulwa la ngaphakathi bathi bagibela ama-Uber ama-taxi. We are not part of this thing that is happening, but we are saying for the lives of the community, Maponya Mall tomorrow morning must be closed.
That's what they're recording for overnight, so we'll keep an eye on that developing story. The Gauteng Roads and Transport MEC is going to be on the show in a few minutes, but their department spokesperson, Lesiba Mpia, confirmed the killings last night, condemning the brutal attack at the mall last night. Have a listen. He was speaking to Newsroom Africa.
We send our condolences to the family of the driver who has lost his life, and we are appalled and very disheartened by what has happened here. Look, currently we have information on record from the police that there is one person who is deceased. There's another person who is out there wounded. And those are the records of, statistics that we have. We have one fatality, which is one person too many. And currently, we're still waiting on the information that we'll be getting from the police.
That was what they knew last night, but we now know that the one driver was shot dead, his car was torched, then they shot at another motorist. That one managed to flee the scene. His car was torched, and then a passerby was hit by a stray bullet and taken to hospital alongside the surviving driver. It really, really is, as the MEC Kedibone Diale-Tlabela has described it, barbaric. But what have we been saying all week about the rise in lawlessness in South Africa, whilst the authorities look the other way?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702. Haibo amu. Kongo zaitwa gaishali. No, Bongani, you are so correct. It's Congo Mame. We dance to Congo Mame. You don't know Congo zae. Haibo.
Tell you what, KG, let's settle this. Let's bring back Ubabu Joe Mafela to settle this once and for all. So why were you correcting me? It's Congo Mame.
It's both.
It's Congo Mame.
It's both. You didn't know that he was saying Zaye at the end.
I didn't.
Okay. Now you know. Now we both know. It's Mame and Zaye.
Oh. Ay, shebele zanjalo. Eguseni. All right. We're a serious show.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
13 after 7, things you need to know at this hour. Listen to this. Meet litigator Louis Dupré, a newly discovered parasite that's making waves in the scientific community. This tiny creature infects the eyes of American alligators and was first spotted in Louisiana's Rockefeller Wildlife Refuge, a vast salt marsh ecosystem. What's remarkable about this discovery is that it's the tribute is paid to South African professor Louis Dupré from the Northwest University, after whom the parasite was named. Dupre's extensive research, dating back to his postgraduate studies, laid the groundwork for this breakthrough, and it was his dedication involved in meticulously examining around 20 crocodiles from farms and beyond Africa's borders that showcased his relentless pursuit for knowledge. And that is how, indeed, they found out about litigator Louis Dupré. Greece is grappling with a devastating heat wave, and now many wildfires erupting in just the last 24 hours alone. We'll get an update on that situation from Adam Gilchrist in a few minutes' time, just in about an hour and a bit's time. The UK is cracking down on underage access to online pornography. In fact, it seems to be paying off, because since the 25th of July, major adult websites like Pornhub have implemented advanced age checks as mandated by the Online Safety Act. And according to data, Pornhub has lost over 1 million visitors in just 2 weeks. It's an extraordinary development. And today is the birthday of Halle Maria Berry, who turns 59. She was born on this day in 1966. She's one of Hollywood's icons and a trailblazer as the first African-American woman to win an Academy Award for Best Lead Actor in a film. You'll know her from Boomerang, Losing Isaiah, Catwoman, which she should not have done, and Die Another Day.
702. Up next,
The Big Interview.
EWN Traffic.
7:15, this Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Those delays in Roodepoort, Amo.
Yes, Bongani, due to that major accident seen on the N1 North right near Bearsnodia Drive, delays coming out of Albertina Sisulu Road, about a 30-minute hold up at this particular moment. Please be on the lookout and try to avoid. As a result, several routes within the area, Roodepoort, are heavily backed up. Bearsnodia Drive, Albertina Sisulu, Christian de Wet, due to people trying to avoid the scene. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
I'm Ramila, all the way from Zaire. Now, clever late excuse number 80. You ran out of petrol and had to push your car to the petrol station. Fortunately, the Outsurance pointsmen are on the roads, and you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late, because they ease traffic congestion to get you there quickly and safely. So Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out, and they're doing this in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Oh, Shane, do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers 2 options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual action soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple action pain relief. Andalex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andalex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andalex it.
Did you know that the CSIR International Convention Center has over 40 years' experience in hosting international, local, and national business events? Located on a tranquil campus in Pretoria East, within the knowledge and science diplomacy capital, the city of Tshwane, it's a fit-for-purpose convention center, ideal for your association, congress, or other business events. For more information, visit csiricc.co.za. The CSIR International Convention Center, where smart minds meet.
It all starts with FNB Private. Diversify your portfolio to grow your wealth. Gain global exposure through shares or unit trusts on the FNB app. Tap into international investments and tax-efficient offshore trusts to build your legacy. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSB and credit provider. FNB International Trustees, FNB IT registration number 3080. Licensed by the Guernsey Financial Services Commission to conduct fiduciary business. T's and C's apply.
As a business owner, would you rather deal with stacks of slips at the end of each day or have recons done instantly? Introducing Yoko Counter, the new all-in-one payments and points of sale system that removes the guesswork, the paperwork, and the time drain. Taking your business from chaos to control, guesswork to clarity, giving you back time to focus on what truly matters. Visit yoko.com today to find out more about the simple yet powerful out-of-the-box solution with free built-in point of sale software.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set.
I got my mind set on you goes the George Harrison 80s hit, and that's precisely what would seem to be the case following a new report from the U.S. State Department on South Africa. The Americans say the human rights situation in this country has worsened, and they point to crime, corruption, and political instability. Worse still, this report cites extrajudicial killings and blames recent legislation as a threat to the rights of minorities. The 2024 Country Report on Human Rights for South Africa paints an ugly picture of arbitrary or unlawful killings, arbitrary arrest or detention, and, as I say, the repression of racial minorities. And it's an extraordinary development given the months of engagement with the US by South Africa. From the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, we've invited Crispin Peary, the spokesperson, to join us to speak about this. Crispin, always a pleasure to have you on the show. The US under Trump really has its eyes set on us.
Yeah, it does seem as though there is some level of attention that is being given to South Africa around a number of issues. But what is most concerning is the distortion of facts and the mischaracterization of a number of matters. And I mean, a most classic example in that report, and there's two that I can think of off the bat. The first is the classification of the farmer who allegedly killed two women and subsequently fed them to pigs as an extrajudicial killing. I mean, that boggles the mind. An extrajudicial killing is often something that is done by state institutions and not individuals committing crime against one another. But most importantly, that matters rightly before the courts as we speak. And we would expect that any matter which is before the courts should be given the due respect that the courts will pronounce itself on what the actual facts are. And that's just one incident. The other incidents which SANEF have now also responded to is this idea that journalists are being arrested and harassed by law enforcement agencies. And SANEF have come out, I saw in an interview yesterday, to say that is very far-fetched. Yes, there are very robust debates about how the media reports in this country, and that's a fair game, that's fair debate that we should expect in a democracy.
I mean, did you rub your eyes, sticking with that theme, if you'll allow me, because this is not just from some website or some online publication that lacks credibility. This is an official U.S. institution. In a sense, this really is now, I guess you could call it, an official U.S. government position.
Yes, rubbing my eyes, I think, is really a very cute description. I read that report several times in really, really deep disbelief of what we'd seen. And after many engagements with our Director General and the Minister, we really thought it's important that we respond to address this distortions. I mean, there are really incredulous claims in that report. Even what is most concerning for us is you would recall that the United States has actually pulled out of the UN Human Rights Council. So for them to then assert themselves as the paragon of human rights, given what's also happening in the United States, is also most concerning. But also, we also want to reflect something that we treat the United States with the deference that it deserves. When a South African citizen, Linda Mjeni, the rugby player, was killed, he was an unarmed individual killed by law enforcement agencies. We issued a statement saying we will allow the law enforcement agencies to investigate this and come up with a conclusion. We didn't say it's an extrajudicial killing. And that's what we really expect democratic nations to look at each other like.
Look, Crispin, I'm interested in a conversation with you, not so much to dispel the disinformation, because I think we've been doing this for months on end now. And although a report like this might be red meat for those groups that have been spreading disinformation about South Africa, I think anybody who lives here will know the reality and the truth of what life in South Africa is like. But what I'm interested in is, what does this then tell you about our diplomatic efforts? There was that Oval Office visit by President Ramaphosa. I think last week, in fact, our president spoke to President Trump on the phone. So all these months and the full weight of all our overtures to Washington, this is what the U.S. government position is on us?
I think it's not a reflection of our diplomatic relations, but it's more a reflection of where the U.S. administration is. And if you look at other reports on other countries as well, countries where there's been recent visits amongst U.S. officials, very top officials, they're also taken aback by a characterization of their human rights regime. We are seeing tariffs being imposed on friends and foes alike. So we have to now understand that this is how the United States operates.
So what does that say about America's credibility on the world stage?
Well, I wouldn't want to opine on that, but it does definitely tell us that the lines of communication are not as transparent as they used to be. And this is something that we really have to continuously adjust and recalibrate our foreign policy.
What's our counter narrative for those investors, for example, who may not know the nuance, who may believe something like this and be deterred?
This is precisely why we issue the statements that we do in the manner that we do, robustly and clearing up the air as much as possible to ensure that the information about South Africa, its institutions, its democratic values reach the global audience far and wide, so that there isn't a distortion about South Africa's position in human rights, amongst other things.
Appreciate your time. Crispin Phiri is the Department of International Relations and Cooperation spokesperson.
702. The Big Interview with Bongani Bingwa.
On to this now. Shot at close range and in cold blood. This was how an e-hailing service driver met his death last night as he dropped off a passenger at Maponya Mall in Soweto. Two others were injured in what's believed to be part of a long-running feud between e-hailing drivers and local taxi operators. According to the police, armed suspects shot an e-hailing driver before setting his car alight, with another vehicle nearby also torched. And then a passerby was hit by a stray bullet. The Gauteng MEC for Roads and Transport, Kedibone Diale-Tlabela, has said this is barbaric, and she joins us now. As always, a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having us this morning, Bongani.
This has been ongoing for some time and is surely now at unacceptably high levels. Many would say it's an indication the police are not in control.
The police are busy currently investigating the matter. The briefings that we got this early hours this morning was that they are still working on the matter. They are on site. I will be going there now. I'm just about to leave Pretoria to Joburg. It's really sad, Bongani, you know. It's a difficult one because in meetings you meet different people and what is on the ground is also different. And we are hopeful that the associations themselves will be able to give us answers. One life too many. We continue to lose a lot of lives to taxi conflicts. And when we thought we have it right by calling all public transport operators representatives in one meeting and trying to resolve their issues, more importantly to us, the first thing is to ensure that everybody operates legally. Secondly, is everybody gets to be free. And South Africans and people of Gauteng have the right to choose a mode of transport that they want to use. Of course, yes, and one of the reasons is it's quite difficult. It's a difficult one, I must say.
Does that mean...
It looks like in meetings as government, we engage with a different set of people. And those that continue with the conflicts or continue killing, it seems that they are not the ones that we're sitting with. But we are meeting also with the association leadership also this morning, just to understand what do we do. And we are hopeful that the police will arrest these criminals that have done this.
What is the point of those engagements then if you're saying you're speaking to one set of people and another is the one that engages in these kinds of attacks? And I'm making the point that the police don't appear to be in control. The brazenness of such an attack suggests that the police are not in control. And respectfully, it sounds that even you yourself are a little overwhelmed.
It's an old age matter. Bongani, I must say, quite a difficult one. And that's why we have created different platforms to engage on this matter. One is that there's a crisis on illegal operation by almost all public transport operators, be it taxis, be it e-hailers, be it bus operators. And I must say that from the side of the department, since 2009, there has been a backlog that in the past year, in the past 11 months, we've been trying to characterize and understand where is the backlog and what creates a backlog.
Since 2009?
Since 2009,
It's
Bongani.
2025.
It's 2025.
Is this beyond you?
It's not now. We have put systems in place. We have done the verifications. We are purifying the system.
So why are people being killed?
Now, this is competition. Now, it's out of our control as roads and transport, because what happens on the ground is criminality. This is pure criminals who are masquerading as part of the conflict. How is it a conflict when the other is also providing a different service from what you are providing? The e-hailers are doing door-to-door. The taxi associations are moving from one rank to a particular point.
Let me
and
see.
The people, the current commuters and that use e-hailers are different from the ones that use taxi associations.
We understand well the difference between the two services and what they provide, but many people will feel frustrated and they'll say the softy approach towards the taxi industry specifically is what got us here. I mean, it doesn't seem that this government dares to deal with this issue decisively. It looks as if you're scared, MEC.
No, we are not scared, Bongani. I rest assured, be sure, we are not scared.
Aren't you?
And they know, no, I'm not scared of them. We are government.
But we know there are no-go areas in the province. We know there are places where these e-hailers know that if they dare set foot, they will be shot at or there will be some kind of trouble like we saw last night. I mean, find me any person in Gauteng or Soweto today who's going to take an e-hailing taxi to Maponya Mall this morning. It happens. They've sent the message. It's understood. It's received. And it does appear as if you're scared to do anything about it as this government.
No, we're not, Bongani. And we ask people of Gauteng to allow us that space. We have started processes to resolve the matter. They know where we stand. They know that we stand for integration. And we believe that South Africans and Gauteng people that would want to participate in a form of economic activity, they should be allowed to. We don't, as Gauteng people, we don't owe the taxi industry anything.
All right.
And the taxi industry must understand that we are in a democratic country where people have the right to choose. We're really not scared of them. And that's why we believe that we must bring all parties on the table to make sure that we resolve some of the issues that all industries are faced with, but also deal with the challenges of conflict. And there's a platform for that. And we are surprised that they, at that level in Soweto, they decide to do. And the sad part, these people decide to use guns to kill each other.
And that's my point, MEC.
That's why we are saying to police, we are hopeful that this time we'll arrest somebody. And and that person will be processed according to our justice system.
All right, MEC for Roads and Transport in Gauteng, Kedibone Diale-Tlabela. It's that word there, surprise, right? They have these engagements, they have these platforms. Something else happens outside of their discussions, and they are surprised. And what's the next plan? To have yet more engagements. And so the cycle repeats, and the cycle repeats, and the cycle repeats.
EWN Business.
Mateo, every time you tell me about Capitec Bank, I kick myself on why I still don't have shares.
You still have a chance.
Yo, guys, what's the latest?
Well, Capitec shares were up 2% on Wednesday after the lender said it expects its profits to surge. Group earnings are expected to increase by between 22 and 27%. Capitec saw strong sales in its life insurance unit. The group life insurance business, Capitec Life, is now operating under its own license and manages over 3.3 million active funeral and life cover policies, insuring 15 million lives. The removal of a profit-sharing agreement for policies sold from the 1st of November 2024 also drove growth in the funeral income. Its loan payout rates also rising over the period, while impairments from defaulting customers remained stable.
Where's the rand?
Rand at this hour slightly weaker against the dollar this morning, 17 Rand 52 at 20 Rand 51 cents against the euro and 23 Rand 78 cents against the British pound. Price of gold slightly up this morning, $3,360 an ounce, or platinum slightly lower at $1,333. Brent crude is now at $65.87 a barrel. More business after 8.
Let's go straight to the news desk. Mr. Zulu, you've got an update from Soweto. Good morning.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Some residents there are threatening to shut down Soweto after an e-hailing driver was killed and 2 cars set on fire at Maponya Mall in what is believed to be taxi violence. 4 gunmen shot the driver, who was parked outside the mall's entrance last night. They also opened fire on another driver who was injured but managed to flee from his vehicle, which was also set alight. An onlooker caught a stray bullet and was later taken to hospital. This e-hailing driver describes what he saw.
I'm scared of my life. I'm going home to sleep now. I did pass in Maponya last night. I saw the incident. I heard the gunshots, and when I come back, I just saw some of the cars on flames. And I'm like, no, I can't stop here because I know actually that this can be the taxi industry fighting the e-hailings.
Meanwhile, the South African National Taxi Council is calling on governments to implement regulations to curb the influx of unregulated e-hailing operators. President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the amendments to the National Land Transport Acts into law a year ago. The council spokesperson, Machikindi Phala, says lack of regulation in the e-hailing industry creates an unsafe environment for commuters.
There has been a disturbing rise in reports of hijackings, abductions, sexual harassment and other violent crimes, all linked to the unchecked operation of e-hailing services under the current legal loopholes.
The deputy chairperson of the South African Metered Taxi and E-Hailing Associations, Bongani Bingwa, says the people who operate in the sector are not monitored by anyone.
The regulations has not been implemented as yet. Hence, the app companies have been getting away with murder by frustrating the industry, adding as many cars as they want, because of they're not accountable to anything. They're not accountable to the people who are dying on a daily basis.
A ballistic expert who investigated the firearms found after 18 people were killed in Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape has linked 3 of the pistols to the massacre. The forensic investigator testified yesterday in the mass murder trial in the Mthatha High Court. 5 men accused of the killings have also been linked to another murder case that occurred weeks before the 18 victims were killed in Gobozana village last year. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
The ballistic expert who probed the firearms recovered in Flagstaff in October last year is also a senior police officer with the rank of colonel. He told the court that some of his skills and training in this field were acquired internationally in countries such as Germany and the United States of America, where he learned some strings from the FBI. He was specially tasked with the ballistic investigation into the Lusikisiki massacre. His investigations have revealed that 3 of the 4 firearms found by police in Flagstaff were indeed used in the commission of the murders. First in KwaBhaca, where a politician and businessman was shot and killed at his home. He also testified that the same firearms were also used in both scenes in Lusikisiki. 13 victims were killed in scene 1, while 4 other victims were killed in scene 2 in Gobozana village. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape.
And President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on African governments and financiers to ramp up investments in water to prevent a deepening crisis. Ramaphosa says water has taken the back seat, with most countries choosing to invest in other sectors like finance and climate change. Ramaphosa made the call at the opening of the African Union AIP Water Investment Summit in Cape Town yesterday. A fine day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 6 and 8 degrees, peaking at highs of 24 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 North. In fact, bumper-to-bumper traffic between Albertina Sisulu Road and Beyers-Nodier Drive due to a major accident seen this morning. It happened in the early hours. It's causing about a 30-minute hold-up. Please be on the lookout. While traveling on the M1 South in the Braamfontein Newtown areas, do expect more traffic volumes due to another accident seen that happened after Empire Road. Delays are from Hudson Drive to the Crown Interchange.
The top story this hour, some residents are threatening a shutdown in Soweto after an e-hailing driver was killed.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 in brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Dreaming of your next getaway? Whether it's a sun-soaked beach escape, adventure-packed tour, or luxury cruise, Flight Center is your go-to for travel. From flights and hotels to tours and cruises, we've got it all. Plus travel insurance for peace of mind. If you want the best deals, you can save more by taking advantage of our Bundle Plus Save offer. Plan your trip today at your nearest Flight Center store or visit flightcenter.co.za. Flight Center, your center for travel.
My guy, tell me how date night was.
Bro, I'm telling you, my arrival was too clean. That sporty exterior, the 1.5 turbo engine, just turns heads.
But what about date night?
Yeah, it was chilled. But the Jolly On Pro, it's on another level, bro.
Sometimes the drive is the best part. The Haval Jolion Pro from only $4,299 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of West Bank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
If you want to know about the heart and art of jazz, look no further than the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, a grand ensemble of over 50 world-class acts across 4 stages for 3 whole days. That's right, from the 26th, 27th and 28th of September. The Sandton Convention Center will be demure and sophisticated as the fine Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2025 takes you deep into the heart, the art and splendor of jazz. Take me there. Book your seat via Ticketmaster now.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Wongs. Good morning, 702 listeners. Yeah, I wonder why the MEC of Transport in Gauteng is calling this insurgent or criminality papariki. You cannot call this papariki. People are dying. I don't think in paparism people are dying. People are dying. This is an insurgent, pure criminality. And the police, the government must intervene before it's too late. People are going to die. We know how do these taxi operators operate. Luvuyo, Kasmer.
Morning, Bongani. The MEC should just be honest with you. Because at the airport, you can't get there with Uber or Bolt. The meter taxis will shoot at them and burn their cars. Gautrain, it's the same thing. Pretoria and Johannesburg, it's the same thing. There was a time when they literally set on a light, one of the e-hailing cars. The police were there.
Morning, Bongs. They are very, very, very scared
I stay around Southgate, and sometimes I don't want to drive. I want to take an Uber to Southgate. The Uber guy, he made time to come to me, and he told me he can't take me to Southgate because in Southgate, the taxi operators have become so brazen that if they see you there waiting for an Uber, they even ask one of their own colleagues to take you in their own car. Imagine they say, no, dude, request and see how much the Uber is going to charge you. We will take you. Last time, I literally left Southgate. I went with Uber, and the guy dropped me a little bit far off. I walked into the mall. When I walked out waiting for Uber, I ended up getting dropped home in an E-class of one of the taxi bosses or taxi operators because government is scared of them.
Gosh, Amo, weren't you showing me, I think, a TikTok creator
Yes.
alleging the same kind of thing?
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is somewhat a little different, but what happens at Southgate, it's alleged?
So there's an e-hailing spot, obviously, because they've seen that there's an issue with, the management has seen that there's an issue between taxi drivers and e-hailing. So there's a spot where you can get picked off or dropped off by the e-hailing cars. And when you get there, they ask you, you've already requested, they say, can I please see your request? If it says maybe 200 Rand, they request their own car to come and pick you up. And they'll drop you off at your home, and you'll pay that amount to them. But the issue here is that there's no insurance that you will get home safely. There's no one who's going to be accountable if you forget your goods inside the car, and there's no one whom you can hold accountable if anything goes wrong on route.
So, I love South Africa. So that's essentially e-hailing drivers trying to jib the system, trying to basically do a one-up on whichever service provider, because it's the platform that gets you as a rider, and they want your, they want you as a rider of that platform without the platform knowing. And they keep the cash.
And it's not the e-hailing drivers, it's the taxi drivers, it's the taxi owners. So they have their own cars that's not like a taxi or it's
and
their
so what
own
happens to the
private vehicles.
What happens to the e-hailing drivers?
No, they tell them to go. You are not allowed to pick up here. You're not allowed to.
We'll do it.
Yeah, we will do it. Just go.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, and it's a chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. Today's answer comes from Flora, who is in Soweto. Flora, what's today's answer, please? Hi. What's today's answer?
1966.
Ooh, that's a good one. 1966, says Flora. 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. 1966 is Flora's answer. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
One of the reasons I don't bet very much, Anthony Teixeira, is that there's so many things you couldn't predict. But if you had said 4 out of the 5 games played last night in the Betway Premiership would have a particular result, you'd be very rich this morning.
You would indeed, because we will start with that, Bongani, as it was 1-0 scorelines for the evening, 4 of the 5 games, like you mentioned, ending that way. Kaizer Chiefs dominating possession in their clash as they managed to finally get on the score sheet with 11 minutes to go against Polokwane City. It means Amakosi are yet to concede a goal across their 2 opening fixtures. However, assistant coach Cedric Kaze has called for level heads.
I would say that as well we need to temper the excitement, because it's only the second game of the season. There is still 28 games to go, and we still have as well a long way to go and a lot of things to work on.
The other 3 games that were won that way were Durban City, Sekhukhune United and Golden Arrows, while Stellenbosch had to settle for a 1-1 draw against Magezi. PSG claimed the UEFA Super Cup, 4-3 on penalties against Spurs. They were 2-0 down in the 85th minutes until Kang In Lee and Khamush scored to end that match 2-2. Tottenham boss Thomas Frank has tried to explain that collapse.
Sometimes football is the smallest of margins. They kept pushing, made some subs that put us under pressure at times, but it's a shot from the edge of the box. That's basically the first goal where the momentum built it. But it's basically the next chance. It's not like they have 3 big chances before the goal is scored. So small margins.
Switching to rugby, where Cameron Hanekom swept the major awards at the Bulls Award ceremony as he won the Fans Player of the Year, Champions Cup Forward and Player of the Year, and then received the URC Forward of the Year. In tennis, Madison Keys was dumped out of the Cincinnati Open overnight. No such problem for Arina Sabalenka or Iga Swiatek as they advanced to the quarters. While in the men's section, Sinner, Alcaraz, Zverev and Rublev all picked up wins. And two-time US Open singles champion Venus Williams will make a return to the Grand Slam after receiving a wild-card invitation. According to the International Federation for Tennis, the 45-year-old will become the oldest entrant at the tournament since Renee Richards in 1981, who was 47. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
Hollywood Bets is bringing you a bounty of prizes with Spina Zonke prize drops. Gear up to unravel an endless supply of treasures and claim fantastic riches with a chance to win an amazing share of 2.5 million rand in cash and prizes. All you have to do is bet 2 rand or more on selected pragmatic play games on Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays between 12:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. Feel the ultimate thrill when you log in for a spin and bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Light the fire this game day with a winning lineup from Checkers. Like Steakhouse Classic man-size rump steak for $149.99 per kilo. Dorsland Vors for $89.99 per kilo. And Steakhouse Classic man-size T-bone for $149.99 per kilo. Light the fire, South Africa, and let Checkers do the rest. Deals valid until this Sunday. Only at Checkers.
EWN Traffic.
10 to 8, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. That crash on the M1 South, Amo.
Bongani, right at the double-decker section, it's causing heavy delays coming out of Harton Drive all the way towards the Crown Interchange. About a 20-minute hold up there. Please be on the lookout and try to avoid. Jan Smuts Avenue is also backed up along with Nelson Mandela Bridge. This is due to people trying to move away from the scene. And if you are traveling on the N3 North, peak time delays between the Geldenhuys Interchange and Modderfontein Road. There's also delays that I'm picking up along the N12 West. This is just as you come out of Atlas Road towards Victoria Road in the Boksburg area. Do expect delays there and approach with care. I'll have your next traffic updates coming up shortly. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Don't ever settle for great. You know that great feeling after nailing a big presentation? Imagine upgrading that. I'm talking driving home with your car's massage seat, practically high-fiving your bum. Headlights so bright, you feel like the star your boss said you were. Arriving home, making an entrance, grander than your slide transitions. Go grand in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Visit opel.co.za for more.
Opel Grandland 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me, what's the question? The answer is 1966. Let's go to Zini in Pretoria. Zini, what's the question?
Good morning. The question is, what year was Halle Berry born, whose birthday it is today?
She's 59, hey? Looks as striking as she ever did. I'm going to play you a clip a little later on, Zini, where she talks about her perceptions of aging and getting older. That is to come. But congratulations, Zini. You've won yourself 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. It is Halle Berry's 59th birthday today. Can you believe it? Now, OutSurance is simply the best at ensuring you have great claims experience. OutSurance has again lowered their number of complaints per 1,000 claims referred to the Ombudsman, and on top of it, they've scored 9.99 on the Hello Peter Trust Index, plus a near 5-star rating on Google Reviews. So isn't it time you switch to the insurer where you always get something out? Visit outsurance.co.za today. OutSurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
When you're uploading massive files, does it really matter what your internet's download speed is? With business class internet, you get a connection that's as fast going up as it is down. Your company deserves business class internet, because just reboot the router isn't a business strategy. Find reliability at vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Further together. Vodacom Business.
Wayne, for you, what is the real deal? For me, it's really customer service. It's getting my money's worth. So if I phone OutSurance and I've got a problem, they're always there. So it's not just, we've got your money, now off you go. No, money is not the biggest deal for me. It's service. Just phone OutSurance, get a quote and see what they can offer you. If you don't save that 321 like I did, you might get a 500 or $1,000 back. Service and savings, you'll always get something out.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands.
What does you always get something out mean to you, Lorette?
OutSurance made it possible for us to live our dream to travel more with the money in our pocket that we save.
Let me know, what is it?
725. It was unbelievable. My husband, he sits there on the chair and he's just nodding his head and say, yes, yes, yes. This is really not just an advertisement. This is really real.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Hi, Bongani and the team. The guys that want to shut down Maponya Mall, they are playing with fire, because now the high rate of unemployment will go up. People will lose their jobs. The only thing that they could do is to shut down the taxi rank. They should work on shutting down the taxi rank. I understand they need those taxis to get to work. I understand. But they are the ones that are doing the problematic things, not the mall. People are going to lose their jobs. Lebo Krugersdorp.
Lebo in Krugersdorp. You know what the sad bit is? Sandton City is thriving. Rosebank Mall is thriving. The Glen, Eastgate, all of these malls in suburbia or in, I don't know, the leafier parts of town. I'm trying to find politically correct ways to put it, but you get what I mean. But it's the townships. It's where the people never dreamed they might have a Maponya Mall. Next to Epimville, right? Could you really have ever thought that there would be a mall of that caliber? Epimville. Years and years and years ago, right? We were used to Black Chain. Remember Black Chain? That's what we were used to. Right? Now there's a mall like that. And it's caught up in a mess because very often, as I've said all week, those in charge look the other way.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
I tell you what, Kabazela, good morning. There are some people in this whole debacle who need this product that is now all the rage. In China, I think it is. Adult pacifiers.
Yes, adult pacifier, or the dummy. No, it's a strange world we live in, I tell you something. So in China, this trend has come about where adults are sucking on dummies because it helps with... Yeah, they are. And these are not like little baby dummies. These are dummies that are made for adults, so they're slightly larger. And people are sucking on them because it helps soothe them. It helps with maybe cravings for eating or smoking, ADHD symptoms, a few other things that people are saying. But then dentists have jumped on the wagon as well and said, well, this can wreak havoc on your teeth and on your swallowing It's not great for your natural swallowing mechanism, so to speak. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope it doesn't catch on here. Imagine sitting in the office, then you look to the right and...
No, stop it.
Yes, no. Absolutely bonkers. Bonkers. So, I mean, some people also use it for stress, to de-stress, right? So let's put it out there this morning. It's two things. What do you do to de-stress yourself? I mean, like just to completely kind of soothe yourself if you've had a really, really stressful time or a situation. Hopefully you don't put a dummy in your mouth. But you may listen to music, or you may go for a run, or whatever it may be. And then the other thing, if you take yourself back to when you had little ones with this dummy, I mean, it comes in handy, and there's obviously purpose for the dummy from a certain age. But have you got any memories that come to mind with the kids sucking on the dummies? You know, maybe you couldn't get them off it, and then eventually you did, or there was a really bad moment, or you couldn't find the dummy. Let's hear those this morning.
It's extraordinary, the things that people will do just because they want to trend. So you're going to mess up your teeth. And of course, one always wants the ability to swallow. All right, Kabazela wants to know, how do you distress? I changed bags this morning, and in my other bag, I have a stress ball. And as soon as you asked that question, I remembered I left my stress ball at home. So that's what I do. What do you do? Let us know.
702.
Feedback.
With Siamtanda Matiso.
Siamtanda Matiso, have you seen these adult dummies?
I did see them because of Kabazela. I just find it, weird. When did we get to this point, guys?
You were telling me about another trend before, because we were looking at this video, obviously, before the show started.
Yeah.
What's the other? There's a new doll trend.
Yeah, people are buying Labubu dolls. So it's like a keychain.
Labubu dolls.
Labubu dolls, and they are very expensive. Like adults are like literally buying them, and they're excited.
They look like little Teletubbies.
I say they're Teletubbies with an evil look.
Yeah, because they've got these wide grin with teeth.
Yep, and they have different complexions. It's just a weird thing that many people are really liking, and they put it on their bags, their keychain, like their keys. Like it's really like Google it,
guys,
and Google how expensive it is.
The Bible said, "Be childlike." It said, "Don't be childish." What else you got?
Bongs, many reacting to the sad situation that happened at Maponya Mall yesterday, where an e-hailing driver was killed and 2 vehicles were set on fire. Many people are saying this is not new. I mean, as passengers and e-hailing drivers have been threatened for years, and this has been brought up for years that there's a problem here, and nothing has been done.
You heard the MEC saying there's a backlog since 2009. And then she says, so we want to understand. I'm like, yeah? You know, sometimes you're like, yeah? But I said, wait, 2009.
Yeah.
And this year is 2025. And you still want to understand.
Yeah. And you know what's so sad?
Guys.
It's how we've created lies now with e-hailing drivers. You have to be like, please act as my uncle or anything, because you know that you might be attacked for going in there, and you are the one who's spending money on these e-hailing drivers. So it's just a
They're going to have one more engagement and another engagement, and the operators will do as they please. Well, let's get an update. We've got EWN reporter Jabulile Mbata on the scene. Swiso Zulu, take it away.
This is EWN.
Threats of a shutdown in Soweto following violence at Maponya. We go live for the latest.
We were one of the people that were in the forefront of guarding Maponya Mall to protect the monument of Soweto, to protect the economy of Soweto.
And Aaron Motsoaledi sends a strong warning to Operation Dudula. Good morning. Is a developing story. Residents in Soweto say it cannot be business as usual after an e-hailing vehicle or 2 e-hailing vehicles were set on fire at Maponya Mall, where one driver was killed. Another driver who was parked near the mall entrance was shot but managed to flee, but his vehicle was also torched. An onlooker was also injured after being hit by a stray bullet. People have gathered outside the mall this morning, saying the long-running battles compromise the safety of residents. We cross now live to Jabulile Mbata at Maponya Mall. Jabulile, what are residents saying there this morning?
So community members are calling for employees
working at the mall to not go into work today, saying things can't continue as normal under such circumstances. Many here have expressed anger and frustration in what they believe is an attack sparked by the taxi industry. Community leader Kiabetu Malebu.
We were one of the people that were in the forefront of guarding Maponya Mall to protect the monument of Soweto, to protect the economy of Soweto.
So police have now closed off the area with tape, monitoring the situation. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News, reporting live in Soweto.
Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi has told Operation Dudula that legislation allowing foreign nationals to use public healthcare facilities will not change. Motsoaledi made the comments during a meeting with the group, warning them to stop protests or face the law. Operation Dudula has in some instances physically removed and prevented foreign nationals from accessing health care at public facilities. Health Department spokesperson Foster Mohale
managed to take the leadership of Dudula through a number of policies and pieces of legislation that govern and regulate the provision of healthcare in the country, which are beyond our control. And as the department, we have to comply.
Crime Intelligence Chief Financial Officer Philani Lushaba remains a focal point of several ongoing investigations into the embattled unit. Lushaba appeared in the Protea Regional Courts yesterday on two separate matters. One relates to fraud and corruption over the appointment of Dineo Mukwele into a highly specialized division within Crime Intelligence, despite her not having the necessary skills or qualifications. The other case relates to defeating the ends of justice, corruption and perjury in 2022, when Lushaba lied that his state laptop, phone and firearm were stolen during a burglary, but it later emerged that a sex worker stole the items following a party at his home. Oren Singh reports.
Crime Intelligence Chief Financial Officer Philani Lushaba appeared alongside Eugene Pittout, Glenn Hudson and Johnny Mogashwa, all members within Crime Intelligence. They handed themselves over to officials from the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption in June after it emerged they had tried to cover up an incident in which Lushaba's state laptop, phone and firearm were stolen by a sex worker at his home in 2022. The items were traced back to the sex worker and recovered, with Lushaba opening a case of house burglary, essentially lying under oath, resulting in IDAC's probe into the matter. They faced 10 counts of corruption, defeating the ends of justice and perjury. The matter was postponed to October for a trial date. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
Meanwhile, Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating allegations of police corruption will meet for the second time today to finalise the terms of reference that will guide its investigation. Political parties had until Friday last week to make their recommendations on what should be included in the terms of reference before Parliament starts its investigation allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. The terms of reference will include which witnesses should be called in to testify, and the committee will also decide on who should be the evidence leader. Babalondenza reports.
At its first meeting last week, the ad hoc committee investigating interference and corruption in the criminal justice system elected the ANC's Soviet Lekhanyane as its chairperson. Lekhanyane said the committee has been tasked with investigating the veracity and implications of all the allegations made by Mkhwanazi about organs of state and criminal syndicates operating in the country. Members of the committee also called for their submissions to be considered in the final terms of reference. In its submission, Action SA proposed that the committee consider engaging a forensic investigator to complement the evidence leader's expertise and to assist with the technical complexities anticipated at the inquiry. The EFF is also expected to submit that the investigation must also interview prisoners who might be in a position to share relevant information around criminal syndicates involving the police. Babalondenza, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $3,356.26 an ounce. The rand is at 17.53 to the dollar, 23.80 to the pound, 20.52 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.95 a barrel.
That accident on the M1 South has been cleared, but traffic remains very slow along the M1 North between Boysons Road and Empire Road in the Parktown area. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 South. This is between Modderfontein Road and Linksfield Road, and that's due to an accident. Please be on the lookout there.
And in your sport, the Springbok women sets it apart for the Rugby World Cup in England. Chiefs Gallant, Sekhukhune and Durban City all start their VFA Premiership by collecting all available 6 points. And Rory McIlroy reveals he's turned down the Ryder Cup playing captaincy before.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs of 24 degrees. The developing story in EWN this hour. Residents in Soweto say it cannot be business as usual after an e-hailing driver was shot dead last night at Maponya Mall and 2 vehicles set on fire.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Show up for the finalist who showed up for you. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Vote for your favorite local business now on primediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
It's 8 minutes after 8 o'clock. You're listening to 702 Breakfast. It's Thursday, the 14th of August, the year of our Lord, 2025. Do you have any sense that something big is about to unfold? Remember, of course, tomorrow, the convention, the People's Convention, as talks for the national dialogue, that is set to begin at UNISA. Is there any buzz in the air? We spoke about it at the beginning of the week with all those foundations pulling out and a number of political parties reconsidering their participation, their involvement. And here we are on the eve of the start of all that process. And is there any, am I missing it, Mutel? Do you think people on the streets are saying, yo, tomorrow, People's Convention? Right? Think about what 1955 would have felt like, right? When the Congress of the People took place in Kliptown. Think about the build-up to 1956 for the Women's March. Those 2 significant events in the 1950s. All grassroots, organic, of course well organized. There would have been so much buzz. We've got all this social media. We've got 24-hour news channels on television. We've got stations like this one. Can you hear the buzz? Listen. Listen carefully. Can you hear it? Wait, maybe cut the music, KG. Can you hear it? There it is. Listen. Can you hear the buzz?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
10 minutes after 8 o'clock. If you've just joined us, you're listening to 702 Breakfast. My name is Bongani Bingwa. I'm with my colleagues Amo Ramila, who's a fantastic singer. I think that's where I messed it up, Mutewa, hey? That's how we get to Congo Zaire.
You guys have had quite a day.
Sweetie, this is how we get to Congo Zaire. Yay! She's like, you said I couldn't sing on the radio. I'm going to come for you. Muteo Kharipa is also here. KG starting the clock. We're keeping an eye, of course, on what's unfolding in Soweto. Residents there saying it can't be business as usual after an e-hailing vehicle was set on fire at Maponya last night. One driver was killed. Another car was also torched. A passerby was shot and is in hospital. Yet another e-hailing driver is recovering as well from that incident. We spoke a little earlier on to the MEC for Roads and Transport, Kedibone Diale-Tlabela, who says, well, there are all these factors to consider. There's a backlog of who should be operating where since 2009, she said. I was like, eh? And I said, well, it's 2025. Yeah. But we need to understand, she says. And part of the difficulty they are faced with is when they have these engagements, they meet with Muteo, and it's Bongani who goes and causes mayhem. So they don't even know if they're talking to the right people. But the brazenness of the attacks suggests only one thing. These guys know they will get away with it. It's that simple.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
I have an interesting story around dummies. I hate them, especially for the kids. There was this one time when my aunt said to me that she's got flu because I was greeting her and normally we would kiss. So she said she's got flu, she can't kiss me. And all was well. Then I gave her my daughter. My daughter was about 6 months or so, and she had a dummy. And I gave her my daughter, and my daughter's dummy fell. She picked it up and sucked it and put it back in my daughter's mouth. After she told me she can't kiss me because she doesn't want to infect me with flu, but she did that. And from that day, I was like, no more dummies for my kids.
Hey, Bongani and team. Nice red shoes, Bongani. Yeah, stress is an everyday occurrence for everybody. I think each person's stress is different. Mine, go for a run the hell out of the road, make sure I'm absolutely pasted by the time I get back, and most of that stress has disappeared. So it's a good run and fantastic jazz. I think I phoned you once to say that my dad and myself sat with Quincy Jones and Mick Hucknall and Phil Collins at the Montreux Jazz Festival. So that's what you do. That's what you have to do. Anyway, have a great day. Cheers.
Yo, good morning, Uncle Bongani. Yo, me to distress. Yes, as you can see my fingers now. I bite my fingers. I literally bite my hands. I think I've developed cons. Yeah.
Hello, Bonganian team. When I'm stressed, I play golf. If I don't have enough time, then I will go to a driving range and hit a few balls, like just a short golf practice session. Of course, it is a mental health game, but I'm telling you, when you are stressed, golf will definitely sort you out. So it is golf for me. This is Tabo from Alberton.
Tabo from Alberton, we're asking the question, how do you de-stress? The new thing in China, adult pacifiers. And if you're a parent of a young one, you'll know the trickiness that comes with navigating pacifiers. They really do the job, right, of pacifying the little one. But one of my absolute horrors is exactly that situation where it falls to the ground. Forget someone else picking it up, right? It's your child then picking up all these germs and, hoying them back into the mouth. Much worse, of course, when an adult licks it and then gives it back to your child. I mean, just, So I completely understand what you are saying there. I almost took one of those voice notes literally, sitting down with Quincy Jones, Mick Hucknall. I thought, what? It's when you have a live performance that you can watch and sit down and chill with. Amo, how do you de-stress outside of coming after me? Okay, I'll stop. Peace.
I sleep. I just go to have a rest. And if it's in the office where I can't nap or, take time off, I just listen to music.
I tell you what, the power of the nap is something adults in this society underestimate. Mateo?
It's always music with me. I heard the listeners say they play golf. That's even more stressful. Because if you have a bad day on the course, then you haven't helped yourself much.
Or if you're not patient with yourself, right? I found this fantastic song, Umtandazo Wamagange, by the brother Moves On. That's what I've been distressing with all week. It's like a very jazzy tune. It's about 8 minutes long. The Brother Moves On, Umtandazo Wamagange. If you listen to anything this week, if you're a music person, listen to that.
EWN Traffic.
16 after 8, the Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amo?
Well, thankfully, that accident that was on the N1 North on the Bears-Nodia off-ramp has been cleared, but traffic remains very slow on Bears-Nodia Drive towards the N1. While traveling on the Mark 1 North, we still have got bumper-to-bumper traffic between Boyson's Road and Carr Street. There's also queuing traffic due to an accident, in fact, in Edenville on the N3 South near Linksfield Road. Delays coming out of Vincent Chabalala Road in the Alex area, so please be on the lookout there and approach with care. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like the eager beaver driving to meet the woman of his dreams. Butterflies in his stomach, GPS on full volume. He checks his hair for the 7th time. looking good. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a possible love story on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005, in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
From retirement realities to workplace reform, we're in conversation with Old Mutual Corporate to discuss ways to move South Africa's workforce forward. And there are some scary statistics out there. Our workforce, our world of work is changing, and so are its priorities. More and more, early career professionals apparently are changing jobs faster. People are staying disengaged longer. And one of the troubling things is increasingly people are questioning one of the most critical financial tools available, and that is retirement savings. The latest REM Channel salary and wage survey and Old Mutual's corporate on track research tell a consistent and troubling story. Younger professionals, especially those with less than 5 years experience on jobs, are resigning at higher rates, and there are no retirement pots to speak of. So how do we deal with this situation? Lindu Esibesho is the managing director of REM Channel and is here to unpack all of this data and what it might mean. A very good morning to you firstly, and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Thank you very much, Bongani. It's really good to be here this morning.
I'm just going to ask you to come a little forward to the mic so we can hear what you have to say. So we're all aware, particularly since the pandemic, that the world of work is completely different to what you and I certainly would have grown up expecting it would be. But it's also quite frightening that as dynamic as the environment is, it doesn't mean people are preparing well enough for the future.
Absolutely. And what you said about the diversity in the workforce is quite the interesting part, because we've got quite a number of generations now, and the younger generation is obviously exposed to a whole lot more things. Our salary and wage survey, as you mentioned, highlights that whilst the overall turnover rate has come down, which talks to some stability in the workforce, the resignation rate, particularly amongst younger people, is high. There's a couple of things that we believe is driving this, Bongani. I think one, financial stress is very, very high. If we look at that very same report, salaries in terms of increase on average have not really been in the same rate as the cost of living. So quite a number of workforce, in fact about 45% of the workforce is under a lot of pressure from a financial perspective. So people are trying to find jobs where they can earn more. And obviously with younger people, they are not as loyal as the older generations, and they want to access their savings much quicker.
And as we discussed last week on this conversation, the gig economy also plays a role. People are no longer tied to a single employer for a number of years, forget decades. That kind of thing just doesn't happen quite as much as it used to.
Absolutely. And that's why there's a demand for benefits portability, for instance, where people are saying benefits like retirement, to your point, should maybe be linked to the individual rather than to the organization. And so they are asking also for a say in how their pay and benefits, for that matter, are structured.
So one of the things you speak a lot about is this idea of focusing not so much on pay, but on purpose. How does that help?
Absolutely. So especially the younger generation, they are looking for organizations where they can actually have meaningful contribution. So it's not just about the paycheck. It's about, why am I doing what I'm doing? What's the purpose of it ultimately? What's the value that we are creating from a services that we are providing to whoever we're providing those services to? And ultimately, what am I getting out of it? How does it align with my values? And how can I make sure that what I do today actually makes sure that the future is sustainable for all?
So this idea of young people resigning quite early on and frequently, do some employers, be honest with me, do they see that as a kind of get out of jail card in terms of the planning they have to do for their employees?
There's a level of, pay and benefits that's very regulatory and compliance driven. But a lot of employers do appreciate the fact that they need people to execute on their strategies. So a lot of organizations will want to have the right people skills and so on. So there are workforce plans that take into consideration the type of skills, the diversity of people, and so on that is needed to actually sustain the value creation and the services they provide to their clients.
All right, let's go back to this pay and purpose thing. How can employers better engage with a younger workforce that is on the go around exactly this issue? In other words, it's not just enough to say, but look at your perks, but look at your salary. How do employers engage with this idea that younger people are looking for purpose in what they do?
I think value propositions need to be holistic. They need to evolve around the individual. They need to be supportive. They need to create inclusive cultures because, as we said, there are diverse needs in today's workforce. And how do you as an employer listen and understand what those are so that you fully engage your people? So the variety that you offer in your total reward offering is very important. It's more than just the financial aspects. Yes, pay has to be fair, it has to be competitive, it has to be equitable, but it also has to talk to the diverse needs of people, and it also shouldn't be assuming that people are the same. So traditional pay structures no longer work.
As MD of REM Channel, you've looked at this data for quite some time. What surprises you?
The rate of responsiveness from an organizational perspective actually surprises me. I would have expected that we would anticipate the changes a little bit more and be a bit more responsive. But I think we are not, as responsive as we should be.
You mean the employers now?
Employers
should a little flat-footed on this.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's a balance. Obviously, it's an employment relationship. Both parties need to come to the party in terms of how to optimize that employment relationship. But we are seeing some employers that are evolving, that are innovating, and are really doing a lot to make sure that they are attractive in terms of their employer brand and aligned to the evolving needs of different employees.
Lindiwe Sibeshe, appreciate your time, the MD of REM Channel. And we're having this conversation, of course, because South Africa's retirement system remains under pressure. But as Lindiwe says, there are opportunities for real change. And it's all around the second Old Mutual Thought Leaders Forum recently held that brought together decision makers, policy makers, and business influencers to have these vital conversations about building a more resilient, more inclusive, and ultimately more sustainable retirement system. You want to go visit oldmutual.co.za/Thought Leaders Forum to learn more, and you can download the latest Mindscape publication.
"702, The World View"
with Adam Gilchrist.
All right, let's catch up with news from elsewhere in the world. Adam, a very good morning to you. We start with Greece. A major heat wave there has led to worrying wildfires.
Yeah, I mean, there are wildfires in all sorts of parts of southern Europe. Spain, for instance, is burning as we speak. But yeah, this is a bad one because it's on the outskirts of Greece's third largest city, the outskirts of the port city of Patras. 38 degrees plus, scorching winds, and a fire now that is threatening a population of about 200,000 people. There have already been evacuations. There have already been entire villages near to Patras emptied, or indeed homes and businesses have been destroyed in some of the flames. Hundreds of vehicles incinerated. I saw one that said there was an area where 500 cars were all destroyed in one kind of parking lot. 10,000 hectares have burned, and all the time the fire's just getting closer and closer to Patras itself. A children's hospital has now been evacuated. Some people have been sent to hospital with breathing difficulties because the whole city is blanketed in smoke. It's not alone in this, but it's a real problem.
It sounds absolutely like it. All right, Adam, let's talk about tomorrow's big summit between Trump and Putin. We'll take two bites of this cherry. Firstly, I want to know, what are the Europeans saying, particularly in terms of their pitch for Ukraine?
Yeah, there's been a load of these calls and a summit yesterday, a virtual summit anyway, that was attended by Donald Trump and indeed the leaders of the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, Poland, the EU and NATO. So a lot of heavyweight people in on this. And What we know, especially from Emmanuel Macron, the French president, is that there have been certain security guarantees as part of any deal that Donald Trump would make with Vladimir Putin. That, in other words, Ukraine's wishes will be taken into consideration. And Donald Trump has apparently said that there won't be any carve up of land, as he had previously suggested. There could be some land swaps. Apparently, that is now off the table. At least he's told European leaders that. So this was about this sort of pre-summit series of summits was kind of about keeping Ukraine's interests and European security interests in Donald Trump's mind as he heads to that face-to-face with Vladimir Putin. The only thing is, sometimes you can do all the planning you like, but when you get to the big performance, do you remember your lines? We shall see.
Especially if you're a TV star who's all about the ratings. Now, you're talking of land swaps. Adam, let's talk about the original one, Alaska, where this meeting is going to take place.
Yeah, bought by the USA from the Russian Empire 158 years ago. So it's sort of familiar territory, sort of, to Vladimir Putin. It's an interesting thought, isn't it, that there they are meeting in a very snowy, cold part of the world. You'd think that would suit Putin more than Trump. Trump looks like a sun worshipper, doesn't he? They're both having a very similar flight time. The Russian president will take 9 hours to get to Alaska from Moscow. The American president, 8 hours from Washington, D.C. But one of the crucial choices of the Elmendorf-Richardson U.S. military base is that being in Alaska, Vladimir Putin won't have to fly over unfriendly skies. Remember, there's still an international arrest warrant out for him, but the International Criminal Court is not recognized by the U.S., so therefore he couldn't possibly get arrested if he strayed to Canada or South America or Africa or wherever. The untapped resources of Alaska and the Arctic, I wonder if they'll play a part, because certainly before, the US and Russia have talked about the richest energy minerals of the Arctic and who owns it. Just wonder if that'll sneak into the thinking, maybe as much as sorting out the war in Ukraine.
Remember Sarah Palin, when she was governor of Alaska, saying she
Remember
would just
her.
look across the ocean and see Russia. And this gave her all the diplomatic experience in the world that would be needed to become a vice president. Ugh, awful memories. Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
Lots of buzz about one particular story, Muteo, as we wrap up business news for the morning. The Nedbank acquisition of this Durban-based fintech company, iKhokha, 1.65 billion rand in an all-cash deal. Tell me more.
Big payday there. According to Nedbank, the acquisition marks a significant milestone in the bank's strategy to deepen its support for small and medium-sized enterprises. Once the acquisition is finalized, iKhokha will become a wholly owned subsidiary of Nedbank, but will continue to operate under its own brand and leadership team. Now, founded in 2012, iKhokha provides mobile point-of-sale solutions to SMEs. iKhokha products include card machines and mobile apps that allow merchants to accept card payments and with added business management tools. Now, the fintech company processes more than 20 billion rand annually in digital payments and has dispersed over 3 billion rand in working capital to the SME sector. Now, it all runs in the family here. iKhokha was co-founded by Clive Putman and his son, Matt Putman, and Matt's friend, Ramsey Daly, and all three of them, of course, set for a very, very big payday.
What are you doing with your son and his best friend? Capitec Bank expecting better earnings as new business units are boosting the business.
Yeah, the lender's shares were up 2% on Wednesday after Capitec said it expects its profits to surge. Group earnings are expected to increase by between 22 and 27%. Capitec says it saw strong sales in its life insurance unit. The group's life insurance business, Capitec Life, is now operating under its own license and manages over 3.3 million active funeral and life cover policies covering 15 million lives.
And tell me about Tencent. They've got solid results.
Yeah, Tencent reporting a 15% jump in second quarter revenue as a strong performance is boosted there by their gaming unit. Domestic games revenue, which accounts for sales from China, rose 17% year on year. You'll remember that the local giant Naspers still owns around a 24% stake in Tencent, so they'll definitely be doing well on the market today.
Your indicators?
Rand 17 Rand 53 against the US dollar, slightly weaker this morning, 20 Rand 52 against the euro, and at 23 Rand 81 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $3,358 an ounce, or platinum at $1,338. Brent crude at $65.87 a barrel. Stephen Crotus this afternoon giving you the latest business.
Straight to the news desk we go. Police presence quite heavy in Soweto this morning. Swiso Zulu, good morning again.
That's right, Bongani. They're monitoring Maponya Mall this morning, where some residents have threatened a shutdown. 4 men shot an e-hailing driver and torched 2 vehicles outside the mall last night. Police believe the attack is related to the long-running battles between the taxi industry and the e-hailing drivers. Residents say their safety is being compromised.
Because we cannot be dictated by an association, or rather an association of this kind, or rather being pulled to this demonic, or rather injustice of criminality in our community. We were one of the people that were in the forefront of Maponya Mall to protect the monument of Soweto, to protect the economy of Soweto.
Gauteng Transport MEC Kedibone Diale-Tlabela, who's expected to visit the area this morning, says meetings between the two groups over the years have not yielded positive results.
Now, this is competition, because what happens on the ground is criminality. This is pure criminals who are masquerading as part of the conflict. How is it a conflict when the other is also providing a different service from what you are providing? The e-hailers are doing door to door. The taxi associations are moving from one rank to a particular point.
We cross now live to Jabulile Mbata, who is monitoring the situation for us outside Maponya Mall. Jabulile, what is happening right now? Jabulile, are you there? Well, we'll come back to Jabulile. She's our reporter monitoring the situation for us at Maponya Mall, as residents there have threatened a shutdown this morning. It's believed that there's been a standoff between police and community leaders who believe the area should remain closed off. Western Cape High Court Judge Nathan Erasmus has cautioned that Section 204 of the Criminal Procedure Act, which allows witnesses to avoid prosecution in exchange for truthful testimony, must be applied carefully to prevent abuse by criminals. State witness Laurentia Lombard was granted immunity for prosecution this week after Erasmus failed that her testimony, or rather ruled that her testimony, played a key role in securing conviction for her co-accused in the matter. Delivering judgment in the Jocelyn Smith matter yesterday, Erasmus warned that the provision should not become a tool for offenders to escape accountability, but rather a means to serve justice.
It should not be used as a tool for people that commit criminal conduct to hide behind. Hence, the decision for the prosecution to utilize this tool and request the court to apply it must be considered carefully.
More than R500 million has been set aside to build at least 1,000 permanent homes for KwaZulu-Natal flood victims. Today, Human Settlements MEC Siboniso Duma, alongside Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli, will conduct an inspection at the site where 1,200 homes are being built in the north of Durban. KZN suffered a major blow after floods ripped through several areas in the province in 2022 and again this year. Thousands of people were left homeless. Public infrastructure was destroyed. The MEC spokesperson, Ndabezinhle Sibia.
There are more than 100, to 108 sites that have been cleared to pave way for the construction of the, 1,200 houses for the victims of floods. We're looking at about 600 million that will be spent, to ensure that these houses are constructed.
Let's return to our top story now, where police are monitoring Maponya Mall in Soweto this morning, where some residents have threatened a shutdown following violence at the mall, where a e-hailing driver was shot and 2 cars were torched. Our reporter Jabulile Mbata is monitoring the situation. Jabulile, what is happening there?
So residents have started barricading the roads with rocks, and they are blocking traffic off, preventing cars from moving. There is even a standoff between police and community leaders who believe the area should remain closed. There is a multidisciplinary team of armed police trying to defuse the situation. And many of the mall staffers in uniform have been removed from work and are saying they are waiting for further instructions. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News, reporting live from Soweto.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 6 and 8 degrees, peaking at highs of 24.
And in the traffic, as you heard on Eyewitness News, we still have got tensions on Chris Honey Road. This is routes that are leading near or towards Maponya Mall as a result of the taxi and e-hailing violence. So please be on the lookout and try to avoid. If you're traveling in the area, please find alternative routes to get out of the area of Soweto. While traveling on the Imakwa North, delays between Boyson's Road and Car Street.
The developing story this hour. Residents in Soweto have barricaded the roads near Maponya Mall after a e-hailing driver was shot and killed and 2 cars torched. There's been a standoff between police and community members this morning.
Imagine if you could save time like you save money. A second here, a minute there. Type a little faster, walk a little faster. Or you could stop scrolling on the internet. Just think of all the hours you'll save. Now, what if you could take all that time and invest it? Watch it grow. Until eventually, one day, you'd have so much time that you wouldn't know what to do with it all. But unfortunately, time doesn't work like that. It can't be stored or banked. And unlike money, you can't make it back. That's why after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time to do whatever you want to do, even if it is scrolling on the internet. Ellen Gray, long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
There's strong, then there's AfriSem Strong. So champion the build with AfriSem Cement, the trusted A1 choice for builders who demand nothing less than superior quality. Crafted for exceptional strength, proven durability, and proudly produced in Mzansi. Because some builds just aren't strong. They're built to last with AfriSam, proud official sponsor to the Springboks.
You're already doing so much, handling life, responsibilities, and the unexpected. So give yourself some credit with a Visa FNB credit card and get the resource you need. Experience flexibility, support, and a partner that helps you stay in control. Apply for a Visa FNB credit card online or visit your nearest branch today. Help changes everything. T's and C's apply. Credit is subject to meeting the qualifying criteria. FNB is a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi, Bongani and team. Anonymous here from Pretoria. I find it appalling that the Department of Transport is appalled that someone was killed. This has been happening under their noses for years and nothing has been done. You cannot get any e-hailing services out of the Hatfield Gautrain station, and the Hatfield Gautrain station security guards are in on it as well. They're the ones that will chase you away. Why am I, as a customer or as a commuter, being dictated to as to what services I should use? And the Department of Transport know about this, and they do nothing about it. And it happens at the malls, and it happens at the Gautrain stations, and it happens everywhere until someone gets shot, and then they're appalled.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a step back. And I know there'll be people who'll be angry with me and who'll say, hang on, what are you saying? Why are you linking those two things? And remember the common thread in everything I've been saying this week about people taking the law into their own hands. And I said, if we turn a blind eye to lawlessness, it's going to become entrenched and it's going to grow. And I started by illustrating my point by referencing Operation Dudula. It's encouraging, I think, to note the health minister has told Operation Dudula that legislation allowing foreign nationals to use public healthcare facilities will not change. And he's saying to them, you better stop this. But as many voice notes have suggested, this kind of thing has been happening over a long time. When residents were being evicted out of those buildings in Germiston, what did they do? They torched the Home Affairs building. Now this taxi situation with e-hailing drivers, what do? They shot these people point blank range, in cold blood, torched their vehicles. And the MEC comes on this program and says, well, you know, there's a backlog since 2009. And I pressed her on it and I said, are you scared? I said, it looks like to me you guys are scared of these taxi drivers, because her argument is we don't know who we're dealing with. We have these engagements, we have these meetings, we hear their concerns, and a very different set of people goes out and causes mayhem. And why do they do it? Because they're going to get away with it. And it's a common thread throughout all of these stories and events.
Morning, Bongs. Over the past week, I've been seeing roadworks and repairs of the lights on the highway. And today, I left the house quite early, and the highway is lit. Something we haven't seen in years. Yo, Sponga EG20. Thank you to our visitors who have forced us to spring clean a house that hasn't been spring cleaned in years. The highways are lit again. Who knew it's always been this easy to fix these lights? Who knew that all of these lights could be fixed in less than a week?
EWN Sport.
Well, if they go at night, Anthony Teixeira, at least there'll be lights on the highway. Where are the Springbok women going?
Well, the Springbok women will be departing our shores for the Rugby World Cup, which takes place later this month in England. They start their campaign in just 10 days' time against Brazil before playing European opposition in the form of Italy and France later in the pool stages. They'll be looking for a better return than 4 years ago, where the South Africans failed to win a single game. As for the men, they're preparing for the Rugby Championship clash against the Wallabies at the weekend. The Aussies have just completed a 2-1 series defeat to the British and Irish Lions, but Bok defence coach Jerry Flannelly feels that they've improved under current coach Joe Schmidt.
If you look at it from a timeline, when they were at the last World Cup, they looked a little bit rudderless. And when Joe came in, he's a brilliant coach. His level of detail that he brings is phenomenal. And I saw the impact that he had in Ireland, you know, making players play much higher than their perceived capacity. And I think he's come in and he's got Australia firing again now.
Switching to football, after 2 rounds of the Betway Premiership fixtures, we have 4 sides with 100% win records. That's Durban City, Kaizer Chiefs, Marama Gallants and Sekhukhune United. At the other end of the table, it makes bad reading for Orlando Pirates, Richards Bay and TS Galaxy, who are yet to get a single point. Cricket Australia confirmed that Mitchell Owen has been ruled out for the remainder of the South Africans' white ball tour. He sustained a concussion after being struck on the helmet by Kagiso Rabada and will now have to start a mandatory 12-day stand-down period. T20 series is all tied up with the decider Saturday, and then next week Tuesday we see the start of the 3-match ODI series. And in golf, Rory McIlroy revealed that he shot down an offer to be the Ryder Cup playing captain, believing it's no longer possible.
I just think the commitments that a captain has the week of, you think about the extra media that a captain has to do, you think about the extra meetings that the captains have to do with the vice captains, with the PGA of America in Keegan's case, preparing your speech for the opening ceremony. There's a lot of things that people don't see that the captain does the week of the Ryder Cup.
We're just 6 weeks out from the 2025 showdown in New York. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
There's power in a single partner who helps you build a better employee benefits strategy. Begin with retirement, the foundation of securing your employee's future. Now layer in everyday health, mental wellness, and financial balance. And finally, essential protection for life's curveballs, from illness to income loss. Now that sounds like a complete benefit strategy, one that protects your people and powers your business. Talk to us at employeebenefits@oldmutual.com about Old Mutual Corporate's integrated employee benefits solutions. Old Mutual Corporate is a division of Old Mutual Life Assurance Company SA Limited, a licensed FSP and life insurer. T's and C's apply.
We love rating things, our phones, our cars, but our health? Your health lets you do what you love with the people you love. So who are you staying healthy for, and how can you improve your health? Choose Dis-Chem Life, the life cover that helps you live a healthier, more rewarding, longer life with regular health checks. Visit dischemlife.co.za now. Dis-Chem Life. Choose a better partner for life. Dis-Chem Life is an authorized FSP 50594, underwritten by Guardrisk Life, a licensed life insurer, FSP 76. T's and C's apply.
To live wealthier, you need to be able to grow your assets.
At Standard Bank Private, you get a team of internationally acclaimed financial experts to advise you on local and global investment strategies. Plus, being with a leader in home loans, you can start expanding your property portfolio. So, come live wealthier with Africa's best private bank. Apply online at standardbank.co.za. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
EWN Traffic.
Let's wrap up this morning's traffic. It's been a busy Thursday, Amo.
It has been indeed, Bongani, and it looks like it's going to be a busier morning in the Pimville Maponya Mall area. This is due to community members having cordoned off some certain roads that are leading towards Maponya Mall this morning. So please, if you're traveling within this area or you're trying to leave Soweto via Chris Hani Road, please try to find alternative routes, as you could be stuck there for long hours. While traveling on the Markwa North, we've got delays between Boyson's Road and Car Street, peak time delays there, while in Edenville an accident reported on the N3 South near Linksfield Road, delays coming out of Vincent Chabalala Street. I'll have your next traffic update at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Life is full of moments. Some are small.
Surprise, I got you a matcha latte.
Some are big.
Surprise, we're having twins.
For all those moments, there's the new Haval H6 SUV with a spacious interior and voice command. It's built for big moments. Get it from only $6,699 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
The blockbuster main attraction at UFC 319 in Chicago on the 17th of August sees Dricus du Plessis take on Russia's Khamzat Chimaev. Will the South African fighter become a legend and defend his middleweight title for the third time while handing the challenger his first ever defeat? Catch all the thrilling action and be in it to win it. Bet 40 Rand or more on any UFC fight between 1 July and 17 August and stand a chance to win your share of 100,000 Rand in cash and prizes.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
Dear Journal, day 3049 of trying to be an adult. I still haven't bought a recycling bin, so there's a mountain of cans in my kitchen that could collapse at any moment. Anyway, what's that saying about your home being a reflection of your mental state?
Got evicted from the family home? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Coming up on the Clement Manyatela Show this morning, Thursday, of course, is your hanging out feature.
Yes.
What happened? Remember you used to come in here and give me a clue and then I'd have to guess?
Yes.
So give me a clue.
On who's on the hanging out feature today?
I want a clue.
Well, imagine the person who graduated like a few weeks ago with a doctorate. Can you imagine that?
Two politicians
Yeah,
come
there
into
was-
mind.
yes.
You've done Muzi already, haven't you?
Yes.
So that only leaves...
So just imagine, that.
The words that are going to come out of his mouth.
You're such a naughty man. Today I'm hanging out.
You started it.
I didn't.
You said, imagine. all the
Today
people.
I'm hanging out with someone who, there was one person that almost everyone in the ANC agreed this is going to be the future president of this country.
In and outside of
In
the
and
ANC,
outside.
He was the future of the party.
Yeah.
He was capable, he was qualified, he was smart, he was engaging. I never felt that he had that wide mass appeal charisma in the way that, say, a Julius or even a Fikile Mbalula actually have. But certainly, if you want to think of a Thabo Mbeki type of
That's
the
the
future,
man.
he was meant to be that guy.
Yeah. So Malusi Kigaba is that chap. He's going to be hanging out with us between 10 and 11 o'clock. I mean, there's a lot that's happened. And he has had his own reflections. He's got his own moments of lessons that have been learned. And I wonder if he still thinks or still has that dream. I mean, ANC people never say to you,
Oh, you betcha.
I'm sure he does.
Oh,
but
you
they always
betcha.
say, well,
yeah, if I'm nominated,
yeah, but
listen, I remember him being in charge of the ANC's election campaign. I think it was 2012.
Yeah,
if I go back that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he really is also a nuts and bolts type person, and I love the fact that he has not given up on his political career.
Yeah.
He says, "Write me off at your own peril. I'm going to go and study. I'm going to go and improve my skill set. I'm not going to rest on my laurels." Look, the Gupta Association will always be a stain on his career. So, and I'm keen to know what he thinks now.
What his reflections
reflecting
are.
on that,
in hindsight.
on that moment.
Yeah, so all of that is going to be
I'll
up
be
between
listening.
10 and 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Thursday dialogue. Today, we're discussing this new study by the Maponya Institute for Strategic Reflection, which suggests that the ANC is likely to only retain majority in 2 provinces after the 2029 general elections. How many times have you done interviews about the imminent or quote-unquote
demise of the
ANC? How many times? Implosion of the ANC.
2 is not likely. Mpumalanga, I think they'll keep.
Yeah, so Mpumalanga,
Limpopo, they keep.
Yeah, Mpumalanga and
Northwest,
Limpopo.
Northwest, I think they'll keep. Eastern Cape, I think they'll keep. Free State, I think they'll keep.
Yeah, so what this research has done is look at Limpopo and the Eastern Cape, because they are saying that they will retain the majority in the 2 provinces, and these are Limpopo and the Eastern Cape. Mpumalanga, they're going to struggle there. Northwest, they're also going to struggle.
Sure, but 50, 49, thereabouts?
48, 45.
It's possible.
Who knows? Yeah,
Okay.
so that's what's coming up. We're going to talk to Minstra about that, and I'll bring in some analysts to help us understand what this actually means. Or is this another conversation about the implosion that is just imminent and imminent and imminent?
Of course, you should also be asking me, and what research have you done, Mr. Bingwa? But you're too kind for that. Cameron Manyatela on your radio between 9 and 12.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
If we are generating more power than we need, why do we still have load reduction?
But what's happening is that, like any infrastructure, a very sensitive infrastructure like the grid is designed to hold a certain capacity, to keep it simple. Now, when you exceed that capacity, the grid operator locally will have to extricate those people that are attached.
Professor Vali Padiachi.
The Midday Report.
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
At the heart of the global conversation shaping the future, Africa's voice surely matters more than ever. So as Africa's largest bank by assets and the lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Meet the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, re-engineered to be our thinnest and lightest foldable yet. Move with confidence, powered by an ultra-sleek, ultra-slim design that adapts wherever life takes you. Open your world to expansive screens, seamlessly crafted for work and play. It's innovation that fits your pocket. Upgrade to the new Galaxy Z Fold 7 and get double the storage on us. Hurry, offer ends 31 August. T's and C's apply.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
This Women's Month, Johannesburg is turning up the volume and turning the spotlight on women like never before. This Sunday, the 24th of August, Marks Park in Emerentia will come alive with the sounds of Thandiswa Mazwai. It will have Amufaku, Makadzi, The Soil, Keisha White, Mikasa, and so many more. This is for the tribute to Women 2025. It's more than just a music festival. It's a full day of empowerment, community, and pure good vibes. We're joined now by Joe Chagela, who is the festival director for Tribute to Women, on the line. A very good morning to you, and thank you for talking to us.
Good morning, Bongani, and good morning to the listeners.
What a powerful lineup, powerhouse voices. This year's this year's festival, the tribute for women.
Yes. We keep getting better and better. This is our 6th edition, and we would, everybody, all our patrons are looking forward to it. We've got a guest artist, Keisha White, from the UK. So we're gonna have fun, a lot of fun.
I mean, one of the things about Women's Month, of course, is all about honoring and uplifting women. How does a festival like this go beyond entertainment to do this, to empower women, especially those in the arts?
Yes. This year we established and registered a foundation called Malibongwe Arts Festival Foundation, specifically to deal with issues affecting women. So for about 11 months, from September to July, we'll be going into the communities, and we're expanding to the provinces. We have a partnership with the Ministry of Women in the presidency. We have also formed a partnership with Soweto. We will unveil this partnership tomorrow at the launch at Joburg Theatre. We are very excited because we will then have programs that we are going to work on throughout for 11 months. And in August, it will be a celebration again, like we are going to have this year on the 24th.
All right, let's talk about the vibe. I mean, if someone's never been to the tribute for women before, what can they expect when they walk into Marks Park?
They can expect fireworks. They can expect it's a family friendly festival, and a lot of security, plain clothes, and those in uniform. So we really make sure that everybody is safe. The event starts from 9:30 to 6 o'clock, so that people disperse. It's incident-free, has been incident-free for the last 6 years.
And I've been to one or two myself, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's just a whole day out at Marks Park, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Congratulations once again on a stellar lineup that you've put together. I think it's going to be as exciting, if not more, than years before. Tribute to Women 2025. You can get your tickets right now, as I say, on the lineup. Tandiswa, Keisha is going to be there. Keisha White, Amufaku, Mikasa, Loiso, The Soil, and Makadzi.
Are on 702.co.za.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of 702 Breakfast. We'll see you bright and early for the Friday edition. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Residents in Soweto have blocked roads with rocks near Maponya Mall after an e-hailing driver was killed there last night. 4 people opened fire at the man and torched his vehicle. Another e-hailing driver who was injured in the attack managed to flee. An onlooker was injured after being hit by a stray bullet. Police believe the attack is related to the long-running battles between the taxi industry and e-hailing